Hello, gamers. Oh, sheesh. Welcome back to another amazing live stream by yours truly. How are we? How are we today? We are making our return to our life. If you did not know, we beat the game. I don't remember exactly when, but we beat the game like months and months ago. But I had gotten the DLC for like the expansion. So if you don't know this game, you go through like different stages of life and you have like different events during those different stages of life. And I got the DLC that expands on the different stages. So we have some new things to do in each stage, I believe. I know definitely the first two, but I don't really even remember much after that. This is not the DLC where we can date the two others. I don't have those ones yet. Also, the next installment from this these developers, Our Life Now and Always, I believe it's called, is not out yet, but it is slated to come out sometime this year. I did check because it is in my it is in my wish list, so it should tell me when it comes out. But it's almost been a year since I've added that game into my whatchamacallit, wish list. So I mean, obviously, no rush to them. I'll be excited for when it comes out. But I'm like, I'm excited. You know what I mean? But let me pause the lo-fi beats, bring you guys... Oop, wrong screen. There we go. There we go. And as the title suggests, we're going Yaoi edition. Last time, I basically played as, like, me. So now we're gonna go Yaoi edition. So we can either do like basically a gender bend of what I did last time, or we can make like an OC or something. Hold on. My nails are dirty. It's bothering me. Okay. There we go. New file. Please. Would you like gameplay explanation sections to appear? No, this is not my first rodeo. No. I know how to play the game. I'm not playing as Jamie. No offense to the default character. We did my last name as Cryptid, right? What's like... I always go, when I like, in quotes, like gender bend my name, I don't know, I always go with Luke, because I can't think of anything else. Because I'm like, well, it's got the LU. It doesn't like end in A. I don't know, like, what's like pertinent to have? My name's just Lou. Ew. I hate that, actually. I also thought Luca, but I hate that as well. Because then you get the LU and the A. But actually, I don't know. I don't like that name. Let's see. Let's see. Starting with... Let's see. Yeah, they're pretty much all the same. I think we'll have to go with Luke. We can do this. Lucas. Let's see. Lucian. Different, same, yeah, I know. The hive mind. Because I wrote that before I looked over and saw that you wrote it. Yeah, I think that's like the best we're gonna get. Not Luigi. Get out of here, bro. This site is like ads on ads on ads. Like, suck my balls. Dude, Lucio's on here. Okay. Voice name. Do we have a voice name? Let's go to the L's. They got Luke. See, they do have Luke. So we'll go Luke for short. Full name Lucas. So you got the A in there, technically. We'll do Luke because they have it. Sure. I'm not that tan. I'm not that pale either. Let's do... Peachy, I guess. I don't remember what eye shape we had before. I don't remember. Eye color green. And then we need a hairstyle. I don't remember what I had last time. I really can't remember. We need to look good, not like whatever the hell some of these are. Ooh. Do they have other... Interesting. Which hair should we have? OMG, the emo hair. Oh my god. What, this one? Where is it? This one? Hi, Robin, by the way. I think we did have this hair at one point. You like this one? It's so flowy. Like, if we have like we could have like a little, here, let's get the back color. I wanted to go back to the start. I can't remember where we started. What color do we want the back to be? And what style do we want? Do we want to have like short hair? You do back black and front pink. True. Not white. Let's do... back to the start. Let's do this one. We are just a little babby. With our naturally pink hair, mind you. We're an anime character. We were just born like that. Oh no, I just wanted to see what these were. Scars. Can't even see half of them. Medium. Glasses? No. In this verse, I'm not blind. Real. Also, I just don't really like how the glasses look that much. Pants and shirts. There we go. Okay, that should be all of the pages. So let's get her done. Even though... Ooh. Begin the prologue again after playing all the way to the end. Woo! We got an achievement already. Natural split dye is crazy. I know, right? It's my parents have actually just been letting me dye my hair since I was... I forget how old we are in this. Like 7 or 8. Alright, like I said, even though we've seen this already, it's been a hot minute since we've been to the beginning of the game. So I'm gonna read this over again. New Game Plus, rah! Summer in Sunset Bird was a special time of year. Your usual sleepy town began to bustle. It was a popular tourist destination, with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of schoolless vacation with it. There's 104 days of summer vacation. During the summer, your moms didn't like you to wander too far outside of your neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. That included the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but mostly stayed and did what your mom called putting down roots. They built businesses, they got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to nice young kids who waved when passing their store. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. You didn't really get why they always said hi. They saw you every day, but you nodded back at them anyways. You ended up saying hi to a lot of different people since most of the tourists came and went every summer were the same ones. You were too anxious to say hi back to most of the other residents that greeted you, but they all knew you well enough to expect that. I can't remember what I actually picked last time. Let's do this one. I still remember us seeing moms for the first time and speculating so much until it was actually confirmed. No, for real. We were like, do they mean it? Like moms, moms? Like two moms? You enjoyed learning all about where they were visiting from and hoped to visit those places one day too. But today there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person, or a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight. Whoever, or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. One thing you know about everyone in Sunset Bird was that people who you don't recognize really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your moms called it. So, for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Your moms had a talk with you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before. You hadn't exactly been listening at that time. You think it could be okay to talk to new people. They mentioned that some people aren't good to talk to, but other types of people can help you, even if you don't know them. Let's try that. You weren't sure about this man yet. Still, you felt a bit scared knowing that he was blocking the way to your front door. But you were pretty interested. You wanted to know more about what was going on. Let's go with a bit scared. You slowed down, your mind racing for ideas on how to get past him unseen, but it was too late to escape. There was a split second where your eyes met and you took in a shaky breath. Your eyes darted to the sky, pretending to stare at a bird who was hovering nearby. Hey! His voice startled you and made you jump, but you still didn't look at him. The bird landed on top of a nearby gatepost, and its black feathers ruffled against the gentle breeze. Trying to keep your eyes on it was tough, especially when the man stood up and started to make his way towards you. Not wanting to seem too approachable, you folded your arms and stared. Still unsure about him, but willing to be friendly, you offered the stranger a smile. Let's try that. The man gives a grin of his own back. Do you live around here? What's your name? You looked the man up and down, taking in his tan-skinned and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed. The way he was acting wasn't. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo, and you wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for you to answer his question. Yeah, I live here. That's great. He looked happy to hear it, giving you a broad smile. He reached into his pocket. Oh, the coveted $20. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him. Well, could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. Sorry, I should have... Let me start over. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. I have a son. His name is Cove, who's about your age. Cove, that seemed like a strange name for an actual living person to you. You chewed on the inside of your cheek. This guy was definitely obsessed with water. You thought that was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. You never met anyone with that name. We moved across the street, see? He gestured toward the house that had been empty for a year, his watch catching the late afternoon sun and reflecting off the walls. The gigantic for sale sign was finally gone. You must be Luke Cryptid, right? I met your moms earlier, and they told me you were 8, just like him, so... Yeah, 8, okay. He shook the $20 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners. Can you try to be friends with the boy? Just give it a chance and you can keep this. He's a good kid, you'll like him.
Do you mind?
But you've got to keep it a secret too, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you. Did other kids really get their parents to pay for friendships? Had your moms done that for you and Lizzie? The thought made you frown. What'd you say? Want to make a deal? I don't want the money. No, thank you. Sorry. He deflated enough to notice, but not completely.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? It won't be bad. Even if it's just for the summer, that'd be enough. That only made this sound more strange to you. Why does it lasting for the summer matter? When it was clear his initial strategy wasn't going to fly, he tucked the bill into his back pocket and changed the request. I get it. You don't have to. Would you be comfortable with he and I coming by for a normal visit? No money involved? Yeah. Yeah, I want to meet him. His smile got bigger again. His eyes crinkled at the sides. I'll bring him by tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but... well, I don't know where he's gotten off to. He laughed when he said that, but with the way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry. If you see him, can you tell him to come on home? He's got a pink cast and glasses. You can't miss it. Sure thing. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends. You knew that, but you were still going to help. Guys, I kind of want to get that $20. Is it bad if I go back? Because I'm just thinking about in, was it Stage 3? You can, like, give Cove a gift, and it was, like, the shell, the $20, and something else. And I low-key want to give him that $20. That was kind of funny. The man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, paused before doing so, then pulled his hand away instead. Your mom's already checking around for me. Such a thoughtful group you are. Now I better go look too. Can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. I thought he might come back and... that's not what's important. I have to go. Thanks again, Luke. So much. The $20 was a massive plot point for your last round, a true symbol of your love. Exactly. So I'm like, do I let it not be this time? Because I'm assuming he's still going to find out that, like, his dad tried to give me $20, but it's like, I didn't take the $20. So I don't know. I don't know. He jogged off down the street without another word. You decided to check the hills behind your house. Okay. Step 1, first sight. Ah! The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. From the top of the hill, you could see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore and the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. You always loved the ocean. It was so much fun. You loved to hear stories about the sea, about the merfolk and the sea serpents you imagined living far beneath the waves. You didn't enjoy the beach all that much, especially the sand, which got absolutely everywhere. Sometimes you could almost convince yourself you had seen a flash of the shiny mermaid's tail in the distance. You took a deep breath. You wanted to try to relax, and couldn't. You weren't sure what, but something told you that you weren't alone, so you glanced around. There was a boy sitting at the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a bit like you'd found a deer in the wild. Though deer didn't have green hair and pronouns. Green hair. But this new boy did. Listen, I don't think my character gets any right to judge people on their hair color when I have pink hair. But this new boy did. You watched it as it fluttered softly around his face in the breeze. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another. And then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. The moon! Sorry. I'm mentally ill. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show that you weren't scary. Haha. Hey, Space Cadet. With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his side. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts. And his eyes were still shining with a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, though when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arm behind his back. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Cove? Eyes wide, he studied you. How'd you know that? I met your dad. Huh. I met your dad.
Oh.
He's like, my fuck-ass, bitch-ass dad. So, is this your hill? Oops, sorry, I'm dropping shit. He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. Listen, man, it's not my hill. It can be our hill. In our life. What? I'm sorry. I'm not, but I am. I can leave if it is. Yeah. You shook your head. While doing so, you also picked out a strand of lint on your leg. What a weird question to ask someone. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sat on the patch of grass next to him. Wait, hold on. Bro, my coworkers be funny as fuck. Sorry. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. Why are you here? A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Almost like they'd never stopped. His tears started up again with a vengeance. My parents, they don't want to live together with me anymore. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave and he took me with him, and now we have a house here and I want to go home. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping at his eyes with the back of his hand before putting them back on. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. I'm sorry. He slipped his hands underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. You felt bad for him being forced to come here with no choice. You couldn't imagine what it would feel like to live with only one of your moms, but it must be pretty hard. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Luke!
Cove?
Kids, where did you go? How do they know we're even together? I mean, I guess they couldn't find me either. Cove looked at you, tears clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here.
I want to go home.
I don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home. It'll be okay. You were struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove. It's not gonna be all fun, but isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. He's like, I guess. My dad, derogatory. Get out of here. Then you can count on him when you really, really need him. You shot him a grin and pushed yourself to your feet. We're over here! And he's like, ooh, why are you doing this? Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked toward the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm. Sorry, I still don't want to go. Yeah, I get it. You do? Before you could answer, you heard Cove's dad even closer than before. There you are, bud. Damn it, he found us. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. It's like, you didn't hear us yelling? Oh no, we did. Then why didn't you say anything? I don't know. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. Luke, you're here after all. We had been at the park to check for Cove, then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. No. No, we were just sitting in the grass. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? You looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. Yes. Listen, I'm right off the bat. He's good. I think I'm gonna marry him. You nodded, smiling slightly. Oh, that's wonderful. Finally letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you.
That's a relief.
Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing Luke knows this whole area so well. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove.
Bye.
Bye! The two of them walked off into the distance. Sorry, the darkness. Heading toward the neighborhood, you watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper playdate tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Huh, that sounds like words. Sure, can I show him my stuff?
Of course.
Then okay. Both of your moms laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arms around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied, and more than a little ready to go to bed, after your long, exciting day, you decided, you followed them home. Sorry, I can't read. Ah! Sorry, that white screen just flash banged me like a bitch. Direct, relaxed, nervous. Did we do relaxed before? Not gonna lie, Cove's dad gets the most shit thrown at him in this game. Some of it he deserves, but no one really seems to respect him. No, that's actually true. I kind of feel bad for him. I think I feel like we were fond at first, but I don't know. Like, I'm ready to just go whole hog, bro. Is that crazy of me? I can't pretend that, like, I don't love Cove, that he's not my little guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if we were reincarnated, but, like, I still, like, kind of remembered him. Like, I wouldn't be able to just be like, no, this is not true. Oopsies. I scrolled backwards. Kindred spirits, right? Like, I'm going whole hog, baby. See, because you could be like nervous crush, fond, indifferent, relaxed, indifferent, fond, crush, and then direct. You could be a really mean, kind of nice, or fond. I'm gonna go direct crush, bro. Let's go. Listen, I mean, I did have my character say that he was gonna marry him. You won't be able to change it again until step 2. Yeah, you're good. You're good. That's Pookie right there. Like, you can't run from me, bitch. The next morning, you finished your breakfast so fast, you nearly puked it back up again. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you stayed put. Today, just like your moms had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. I also think it's weird, not weird, I mean, for me, like, I can't be mean to a character that I like a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I have a hard time being mean in video games in general. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, I can't be mean a lot of the times because it makes me feel bad. But, you know, I'm like, I can't. And I especially can't be mean to Cove. He is Pookie. Like, I literally cannot be mean to Cove. I can't do it. So, that's why. And I can't be nonchalant, bro. Guys, can you tell my coworker to stop blowing up the group chat right now? If you want to know the tea of what happened, I think one of my coworkers posted his cat and was like, as soon as I came home, bro did this. And then another the coworker that like none of us really like, she went, what did she say specifically? Because he wrote, literally just got home, sat down in this, and it's like the picture of the cat. And then she said, Daddy is home. And everybody immediately went to the other group chat that we have without her and was like, yuck! Why did she say that? Excited to see your new friend again, Luke? I can't wait to see him. If you're going to get married, it made sense to be around each other.
How sweet.
Isn't that just the sweetest thing? I bet the two of them are gonna be great playmates. Mm-hmm. Yeah, playmates.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? Haha, I don't know, am I? You gesture down to the empty dish in front of you, raising your eyebrows dramatically. Your moms don't even know. I could never do it IRL, but I love being mean to people in games just to see how they react. I can only be mean to the characters who are being, like, dicks first. Like, if the character is not being mean, I'm like, then I just feel like an asshole.
Okay.
Okay, we see. Good job. He should be here soon. Cleanup began, and then, on cue, there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still loud, though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Luke, could you get it? You practically leapt out of your chair and on the way to the door. Hey, cryptid family. Thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright lighting in your living room, and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him and Mom and Mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. Pleased to see the interesting new boy again, you smiled at Cove. Cove returned it shyly. You twisted the threaded bracelet. I almost said bracelet. Bracelet on your wrist. You twisted the crystal bead bracelet on your wrist. Shell bracelet, flower bracelet. Let's do the threaded bracelet. Mom, we're gonna play in my room. Your guest blinked, but didn't protest.
Okay. Take care.
Let us know if you need anything, you two. Have fun, kids.
See you.
See you later, son. Play nice. Look at this fuck-ass penguin. Who is he? You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at the sight of your treasures. There were a lot of stuffed animals, a cool bed, a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. Thank you. You're welcome. You smiled at him. You were proud of that particular piece of art, and you were glad he noticed it. You turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the walls. I'm glad for the company. It was nice to have someone new to play with. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things you'd collected, tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach.
Oh.
Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it. I do, look. You gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand.
Neat.
Neat. This is a good collection. You got the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice, or to be like Shiloh. Man, don't even get me started on Shiloh, bro. I forgot about that fucking kid. He actually meant it. I forgot about Shiloh. Dude, me too, twin. Wow, this actually is me. Shiloh? He's friends with my older sister, and he's supposed to hang out here this afternoon. Do I have to see him? You don't have to do anything, but he's going to be here. Anyway, I found this gigantic shell here stuck to an even bigger rock. You pulled out seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. The collection was so huge and varied that you had lots of funny stories to tell for all of them. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like the full force of his attention. Like when you almost got pinched by a hermit crab while searching for shells, and after watching him scuttle back into the ocean, you found another empty shell that was almost a twin to his home. No, yeah, teasing is good. It's so funny how much Cove just does not like anyone but you. I know, right? Like, I love him. He's so twin. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. For some reason, it was making your cheeks feel warm. You had never felt like this around someone before. It was kind of weird. My favorite thing is, like, this game, like, you can choose whether or not, like, you want to like Cove. Like, you don't ever have to actually get with Cove. But, like, I don't know. Like, I couldn't not. He was so endearing. I was like, they really just cooked up, like, a character just for me. Wow. That's why I'm, like, very curious about the next game whenever it comes out. Like, am I gonna like somebody as much as I like Cove? I mean, to be fair, I don't think when I first 100% started, like, my initial playthrough of this, I don't remember if I think I was neutral on Cove, to be honest. Like, I don't think I was like, oh my god, my man, the way I am now. But I think I was neutral. I was like, who's this guy with his fuck-ass eyebrows? And to be fair, he does have fuck-ass eyebrows. But, you know, they're my fuck-ass eyebrows. My little fuck-ass eyebrows. That's actually my nickname for him. Real, not clickbait. I'm just kidding. That is clickbait. Or is it? Anyways. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang out. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guess it was because he thinks you found each other by accident, not that a parent made it happen. I mean, it wasn't really. Not that a parent made it happen. Mr. Holden must be right that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. Before you knew it, you'd both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I brought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. Great. Bust it open. We can keep looking at it while we wait for Shiloh. Cove reached in, and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh. Like he hadn't spoken aloud yet, he turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one is the best of them. You can take it. Cove looked at you in surprise, his eyes going wide. Really? Sure, you like it a lot, right? Uh-huh. But I don't want to take it from you. It's okay. You got the impression he was hesitant to accept something because he didn't know you very well. Take it. No, it's okay for you. You pushed the shell against Cove's chest, willing him to receive the present, but Cove firmly shook his head and kept his arms tightly at his sides. It was a battle you couldn't win, at least not today. Cove is your neighbor now. Maybe you could give it to him another time. The two of you were still sitting on the floor, looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Hi, Kira! We're playing Our Life again, but we're doing the DLC we didn't do, and also it's gonna be yaoi this time. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. I read the last part, right? The two of you were still sitting on the floor, looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for that. Lizzie's friend? You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell what he was thinking right away. He said, I don't want to talk to this bitch-ass motherfucker. And honestly, he's so right. We hate Shiloh in this house. You could tell what he was thinking right away. Bro, honestly, it still makes me so mad that, like, Shiloh was all up, like, on Lizzie. And then when they grow up, doesn't even remember her. Man, see? Bow. This isn't a good idea. It's just Shiloh. And where would you even go? He's at our only door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you. Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked onto the back of the house. I can go out the window. He was already walking towards it. Scrambling to think of something to say, you stepped forward, then paused. A good idea. I think last time we went out with him... Do you want to break your other arm? Please don't get hurt. I'm worried. What if something happens? The distance from the first floor living room wasn't far, but you could tell it made Cove nervous anyway. He touched the cast on his arm. The wind had clearly released from his sails. I don't want to break any more bones. I don't think anyone wants to. Yeah. But I don't want to see him. I don't know him. Hey, it's okay, Pookie Bear. I get it. This isn't the best way to ever meet Shiloh. Sorry. Thanks. Shiloh poked his head in the living room. It was impossible to know for sure if he'd heard what you'd been saying or not, but you guessed that he had.
Hi. Hi, Luke. And, hi, Cove.
Cove shot you an uneasy glance.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Shiloh. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah. You have a lot of freckles.
Oh, right, I do. What are you guys doing?
We're looking at shells.
Can I do it too? Awesome. Can I do it too?
Cove shrugged, then looked back at your box of beach findings. My box of strokes. What about that one? The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at the beach thing some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. I thought, like, where's Lizzie, bro? Go hang out with Lizzie while I hang out with my future husband, bro. I need chapstick on. My lips are dry. This is a scallop shell I found last week. I kept it because it looked neat. It's a pretty color. Kind of like my cast. And your bright-ass pink-ass hair. The beautiful glittering pink did look a bit like the wrap around his arm.
Pink is a nice color.
Okay. Cove is not fucking with Shiloh, like, at all.
Oh?
Is it your favorite?
Not really.
What is?
Maybe green or blue. It might be yellow.
Oh, those are all cool.
I guess.
There are better colors, like pink. Says you. You poked your tongue out at Cove, trying not to laugh when he did the same thing in retaliation. Like usual, it didn't take long for Shiloh to get fidgety. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her around, Shiloh didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. And he wasn't much like you either.
Is Lizzie coming back?
Don't know.
Aw, where'd she go?
I think she's at the beach, probably.
Is she playing at her park?
Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of the park, and he looked towards you. He was like, there's a park, and you didn't fucking tell me? You didn't ask!
There's a park?
Yeah, but it's old. Can you show me? I want to go. He started getting up before you had even answered, and Shiloh jumped up beside him in excitement.
Really? You do, too, right, Luke? The park is fun.
Dude, I love it, bro. The park is pretty great.
Yeah, it's right at the beach, so there's lots of fun stuff to do, and lots of sand.
It has a jungle gym and a bunch of swings.
That sounds like it could be cool. Are we gonna go find Lizzie?
I don't know. I never really wanted to see her. I just wanted to check the park. Adrift without any direction, Shiloh finally turned to you. Okay. You perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. After getting permission from your moms, the three of you were ready to head out. It was a short walk to the park. Lizzie had convinced your moms that it was so short she should always be allowed to walk there by herself. With you, when you found her, she was hanging out on the jungle gym, swinging back and forth. Hey, Lizzie. Her face lit up when she saw you, her big brown eyes going wide.
Luke, Shiloh. Hi.
She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Shiloh had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. You were used to being left out when it was just the three of you, but now Cove was here. It was nice to have someone who stuck with you. Honestly, I really think that this is Liz's best look. I just think the high pony is so cute and the little sunflower dress is so cute. I just think it fits her a lot.
Who's that? It's Cove. He's new.
Hi.
I remember. Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes here to play, so this is where we get together.
I am curious, though. Do you think Shiloh actually forgot Lizzie, or was he just faking? I feel like he was faking it. IMO. If anything, I think that, like, maybe he didn't recognize them at first, but then, like, when they got closer, I feel like he did. Because isn't Shiloh from a different game that they made? Dude, speaking of, let me hit a save ski. I'm pretty sure somebody said that. Let me check. Let me go on Steam. Let me go to the store page. Let's see. Let's see. I feel like it was one of these. Maybe I'm crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. Oh, maybe it's this. No, no audio. Don't do this to me. I thought he was. Maybe I'm crazy? Oh, no, he is. Okay, yeah, he's from XOXO Droplets. Shiloh. Yeah, there he is. There he is. Maybe we'll have to play this game too, because it's also free. Let me add this to my library. That's just like the free-to-play version. Apparently there's a full version extension that's $20. There's a DLC for that. So maybe if we end up liking the regular, we could always get the full thing. Wow, apparently you can get the GB Patch bundle. And you can get their other game, A Foretold Affair. The DLC and then the extension DLC for $28.19. What does the extension have in it? Features 3 more main jerk boyfriend options, 2 sweet but not terribly bright side boyfriend options, yet 1 more boyfriend option in the flirtatious party boy, 4 extra date events for certain people, the ability to unlock all 4 CGs, 12 outfits for all of those rather than just 3 and 10, 50 more random events, 45 more text chats, 24 more part-time work events, an accessory system that lets you decorate the main character, the option to change the background of your cell phone to one of 12 different options, even better cheat codes. Okay. So I guess if y'all want that, I'll put this in my wish list. I knew he was from a different one. That's why he couldn't like Lizzie. That's why he couldn't like Lizzie, because he had to potentially have a love interest elsewhere. Now you know. Now we know. Blood Droplets is the horror version. The original is this one. Where's the share button? Just wanted to get the link. Yeah, XOXO Droplets. I don't even know what this game. Otome dating sim about a humorously jerky young lady and her mission to woo one of multiple uniquely but equally obnoxious guys. Fucking terrible people. Man, maybe that's actually why I hate Shiloh. Real, not clickbait. Like, maybe I hate Shiloh because he was meant to be hated. That's really funny that they decided to give him a cameo in this game. I don't know why, but that's kind of funny. They were like, alright, we're making this new game. Who should we make? Let's make this new character, and this new character, we should give a cameo to one of our older characters. Alright, who should we pick? Shiloh. So he was supposed to be an asshole. I don't know. I haven't played XOXO yet, so maybe we'll play that this month, too. She gestured widely with her arms as if to present the area to the newcomer. While Lizzie continued talking, you took the chance to kick off your shoes and wriggle your toes through the warm sand. Nice. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas. You are? Uh-huh. Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job? Shiloh... sorry. Lizzie's the oldest. By a lot. My mom said you're Luke's age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thought so. I'm still the only one in this group with double digits. What about the other kids? Other kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Shiloh's just visiting from another place. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try to steal your youth.
Oh.
He said depression. For a second, it looked like he might cry again.
But something in his eyes shifted and he looked back at Lizzie. What kind of old people? Like moms and dads or grandparents? Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids. Why? We haven't done anything. Only some of them don't like kids. You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Shiloh was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation. I'm at Lizzie and Lucan's school. You'll see tons of kids there once summer is over. I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end. Shiloh looked down to the dirt. He hadn't had, oh my god, I'm really having a stroke right now. He hasn't had much luck striking up conversations with Cove. I like summer vacation a lot too. All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. At Shiloh's discomfort, at how weird she thought Cove was, at something else entirely you didn't really know. But she laughed, face scrunching up.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put up your feet, and get used to it. You offered him a small smile, and that, at least, looked to reassure him some. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Shiloh, and on some days, when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. He became a staple of your everyday life, the way sun and lunch and the beach were. Looking back on it years later, you would realize that you'd had a tiny crush on him right away. One that had made you want to spend as much time with him as you did. Of course, that was only the start of things. Woo! Yeah, baby! We're going to be ignoring all of this stuff up here, and we're only going to be doing the DLCs. So, let's head to the library. This is all brand new content for me and for you. And our crush is instantaneous, yes. Give me 1 second. Let me take a sip of my drink and we'll get ready to go. Ooh, should I put on chapstick too? If I can find it. Okay, here we go. I need a little chapstick. I wonder how far the school is from like actual Sunset Bird. Because I think they said this takes place in Cali, right? Every year, the Sunset Bird Memorial Library held a summer reading program. Your moms and Lizzie were big fans of it. Mom and Mommy because it encouraged reading, and Lizzie because she could win prizes. Dude, I read summer reading program. Okay. When it came to what you thought of having to read a bunch of books and then going to the library with a competitive Lizzie, I loved it. Bro, this reminds me of when I was in 4th grade. And that was like when I actually started to like reading, because my school, they started my class anyways, we had like a little like reading thing where like we all had little apples on this bulletin board, and every time we read a book, we got like a little like gold smiley face sticker, and the top 3 people like who read the most books would get like a little prize. So like, bro, I was number 1. I was. I made sure every day I was like, hold on, how many stickers does everybody have? I need to read more. So if my parents were gonna force me to do this, like, baby, I was finna win. Trust on that. Each time it had been one of the highlights of your summer.
Does this game support controller? Because I would love to be able to lean back and just like click with this. I don't know if it does, but let's try. Oops. Oh my god, my shit's all tangled. Ooh, it does. Okay. You and Lizzie went with Shiloh before, and this year you brought Cove too. Oh, no. I hit back. Oh god, I don't even know how to get over here. Escape. Escape. Oh no. Return. I don't even know how I hit that. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, that's fine. So just don't hit anything but A, because I don't know what anything else does. Yeah, I know if you could figure it. I just didn't want to have to. You and Lizzie went with Shiloh before, and this year you'd brought Cove too. You had never been in Cove's dad's car before. It seemed a lot shinier than your mom's, even though it was the same exact interior shot. After herding the group inside, Mr. Holden gave you all a wide wave with the arm that had the stingray on it. Stay inside of the librarians, you hear? I wish I could watch you in action, but your poor old dad has to finish up some work.
I got it.
There's plainly no reply from his son over what was likely meant as only a joke. Cove's dad seems to deflate a bit. Yeah, you can go home now. Sorry, I skipped that. I hope I didn't skip a bunch of other stuff. Oh yeah, I missed have fun, kids.
I got it. I got it.
Though I'm sure that won't get in the way. Heck, I'd probably hold you kids back. There had pointedly no reply from his son, as what was likely only to make a joke. Okay, seems like it skips too when I hit the A button. Because this is going to go straight to Cove, isn't it? Yeah, that's so weird. I'll swing around again when the shindig ends. Yeah, you can go home now.
Aw.
Aw, you don't have to throw me out the door. He's like, come on.
Come on!
Yeah, it's so weird.
Aw.
Your sister, already in full competition mode, cut him off. For once, Cove looked grateful she was there. Dang, I actually have to sit up in my seat. I hate it here.
Come on!
We have to find a table, Mr. Holden. You can talk to Cove after, when we win. Okay. See you in about an hour. Have fun. Did I say that already? My advanced age is really catching up to me now.
Bye.
Bye, Dad. Sorry, that's his older voice. Bye, Dad. Bye, son. The four of you watched him shuffle out of the library, glancing over his shoulder at Cove more than once. Bye, Mr. Holden. Thanks for bringing us. Thanks, Lizzie. I don't know what you're thanking me for. Are you copying Shiloh? Distracted, Cove was already glancing around the gigantic library. I want to go explore. What? I said I want to go look around and see what's here. Do you think... Cove, do you think they have warrior cats here? Have you ever read Warrior Cats, Cove? But the quiz starts soon. That's why we came. Wide at the first signs of conflict, Shiloh's eyes darted between Lizzie and Cove. Dude, these two are always fucking beefing, I swear to God. Then you can do it without me, right? You don't need a bunch of people. Didn't your dad say to stay with the librarians? You're not a librarian. You shouldn't go somewhere by yourself. Cove leveled an unimpressed stare at the both of them. Then his eyes met yours.
Hey!
Why are you looking at him? Luke is with us. Luke, do you want to come with me? The step-siblings are writing. Bro, that's like the in-laws, bro. Ugh, why do they have them making me choose?
Listen, I'm not gonna say any names, but I'd rather go exploring.
Seriously?
Cove looked surprised, but happy at the same time. You talked about how much you didn't, oh my god, how much you enjoyed this on the ride over, so he probably hadn't been expecting you to side with him.
Ugh, fine. Let's go, Shiloh. Okay.
Her arms folded, your sister stormed off. Shiloh had to race to keep up with her.
She cares a lot about that.
Yeah, Lizzie gets really competitive.
I can tell. Since you've been here a lot before, we could play hide and seek.
Hide and seek, not exploring?
Yep. If I'm searching for you and you're searching for me, we'll really have to look at everything.
You weren't entirely sure how effective that would be, but couldn't say he was totally wrong.
I'll hide first.
Decision made, Cove took off toward the back of the library. You'd already agreed to play with him instead, so you covered your face and waited for 10 seconds. When you looked up again, he was nowhere to be seen. You glanced over toward the way he went. Cove hadn't had much time to hide, but he was already invisible. The place you decided to check was... I'm gonna check behind the solar system model. Your library's solar system display was pretty neat. It had all the planets from the sun on out, and it had its own little section hidden in the science books. But you saw a tiny pair of familiar shoes poked out from under the earth, so you leaned around it. I knew our home planet didn't have legs.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
He turned back to the earth and its tiny moon.
From this spot, I think it's supposed to be a solar eclipse. It kind of blocks out the sun.
You looked at it, tilting your head. He was right. This thing was something you'd always walked by, but you never noticed that before. Hide and seek did seem to be working out for finding interesting things.
Okay.
Your turn now. I'm gonna cover my eyes and count to 10. I promise I won't peek.
When Cove had his eyes securely behind the palms of his hands, you went to go hide. By the fire awareness station, near the stuffed animals, under the giant piece of fruit, by the outlaw poster, in the fantasy section, near the toddler books. Let's go to the fantasy section. You decided to hide from Cove in the fantasy section. He'd never really mentioned being interested in fantasy, so you had pretty good odds of hiding for a while there. If you didn't pay attention to it or read it much, he might just glance over it. And you were right, sort of. He left you waiting for a while, long enough that you eventually pushed yourself to your feet to stretch your legs. You won the round, but Cove wasn't even trying. Over the edge of a shelf, you saw him standing and staring at a bunch of books. Hey, you almost found me. Cove's shoulders tensed in alarm.
Sorry, I was gonna come find you soon.
It's alright. You gestured at the shelf full of books, and the one in his hand that had clearly been taking up all of his attention.
They're the Narnia series. They have talking animals in a magic land and intense fights.
Well, if you're looking for talking animals, magic lands, and intense fights, have you ever heard of warrior cats?
And my mom used to read them with me.
Oh.
Her favorite one was Susan.
You weren't sure what to do. You weren't sure what he would do. His mom was always a sensitive topic. But he tucked the book back on the shelf, and that was all. It was nice, the memories made him happy instead of sad this time.
Alright.
It's my turn again. Start counting so I can pick a spot.
Okay. Cove darted off before you even had a chance to fully close your eyes. 1 Mississippi. Mississippi. When the time was up, he was long gone again. There was still a lot of good places to hide, so you figured he was next to the kid detective poster. Is it Conan? You figured he was probably near the poster with a gigantic image of a smirking kid detective. Cove could have hidden in the itty-bitty little reading area next to it. Glancing past the poster itself briefly, your brain registered the words, Junie B. Jones, don't call her Beatrice.
Dude, shout out Judy B. Jones. In big, imposing letters. I actually think I know exactly which book they're talking about. You pause to stare at it for a second, thinking, why would I call her Beatrice if her name is Junie? Shaking your head to clear away the distraction, you tiptoed in to see who was sitting in the comfy chair. And sure enough, it was Cove. Dude, I'm actually the finder of all time, bro. But he was so absorbed in the book he was reading that he didn't even notice you yet. I don't think most people read while playing hide and seek. Cove glanced up at you in one rough motion. Oh, hi Luke. I wasn't sure when you'd get here. It took a while. Not that long. It could have been worse, but it could have been better. Man, you haven't even found me once, you bitch ass. Let's keep playing. I can still win.
Yeah, it's 2-0, motherfucker. Wait, does this count 3-0 because he didn't find me the last round, so I got a point? It's 3-0. He put his hands over his eyes, but before you could run off again, a librarian approached the two of you.
Ah, kids, I've been looking for you. Cove peeked between his fingers at the stranger. Us? You must be Cove. Your dad told me he was waiting by the entrance. Cove blinked, mouth opening like he was going to say something, then glanced down at his pink cast. It was a pretty clear giveaway. Sure. Is my sister Lizzie with him? She's taller than us, and she has orange hair. You're Luke, right? You nodded. Phew, I found both of you at once. That's right, she's with him, and a little guy with freckles. Come on, let's go get you reunited so we can close up for the night. Ready to go home, you and Cove followed him up front, where the ragtag group of family members and Shiloh were all waiting.
Hey!
There you are! She was pouting. You could tell from all the way across the room, and it was only that much more obvious as you got closer. Did you win? We came in second. Hey, gang, I thought you'd have been with them the whole time, Cove. I'm glad you didn't just go off by yourself, at least. Cove glanced over at you, then back at his dad.
Yeah.
Me too. A broad smile spread over Mr. Holden's face.
That's...
Even so. Next time you should... Cove? Cove? Cove's dad snuck... oh my god. Cove's dad glanced around, slightly frantic. But Cove, just like always, had snuck off without thinking to say anything. He's leaving! Cove's trying to be the first one to the car! With a sudden burst of glee, Lizzie darted for the exit, still in Victor-to-be mode, even for something like a race to ride in the front seat. There was nothing else for the three of you to do except head after them, pretending the librarians hadn't noticed all the commotion. Though Lizzie had been victorious in claiming a window seat in the car, you could tell by her crossed arms and occasional pout that she had still not forgiven your betrayal. Listen, I'm trying to get a man's. I'm thinking about the future, Liz. Cove hadn't been pleased about how he had to sit in the middle, but his mood lifted as you sat next to him. Did you say you came in second? That's some good going.
No.
No, it's not. She levied another glare at you over her shoulder.
Sure.
Ah, sure. Striving to improve is good, too. That makes Luke the winner in your family. Someone's gotta be.
What?
Luke kept finding me in our game. I lost. We need a rematch. Hide and seek with just you two? That doesn't even count as winning.
Why?
Why not? It's not special. There's no judges or prizes. You eyed the seat that she fought so hard to win. That wasn't much of a prize either. Dad. Yeah? You could see Cove's dad's eyes in the rearview mirror, suddenly attentive at his son's call. We need a prize. Oh, as a matter of fact... Mr. Holden focused intently on the road ahead, as though a suitable reward to please Cove might appear before him. Right, the big thing on the flyer for this was the chance to get a free pizza coupon, wasn't it? How about I call up a takeout place and we can have pizza at home for dinner? Lizzie huffed, pulling her arms closer to her chest. Is Mom even gonna let you take a pizza from Mr. Holden? We'll see. I'll ask her. I'll talk to all of your moms about this. You whooped.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Holden. Yeah, thanks, Dad. You're welcome. I do what I can. But you really should have stuck with the group. The quiz would have been fun. That was the plan when I dropped you off. We stayed together and didn't leave the library. I'm glad for that, I am. Well, there's a lot of trouble you can get into, even if you do have a buddy along for the ride. Just be careful next time. I worry about you, and I bet Luke's parents wouldn't want him to run off unexpectedly either. Okay, son?
Okay.
That's my boy. Now, enough gruff from your old dad. Let's decide what kind of toppings we're gonna get. Pepperoni! Sounds good. Anything else? And the conversation continued from there, with debates on what was best to put on pizza for the rest of the drive. Dude, I could fuck up a pizza right now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Mr. Holden wanted anchovies, and the other 3 kids in the car had to band together to explain how gross they were. The way Cove's dad laughed up in the front seat made you wonder if he was doing it on purpose. You'd had a fun day already, but closing it out with the promise of a free pizza after all and more time to hang out with Cove made it even sweeter. It was a shame that you hadn't been able to do the quiz, but skipping it for just 1 year didn't hurt. It was worth it. Bro, whenever we go to this screen, I literally just get fucking flashbanged. Okay. It's ghost time. We're getting spooky. Excuse you, anchovies are not gross. Yeah, man. For sure. No, for sure. 100%. Anyways. The night was incredibly still. You really couldn't ignore how silent it was. It was almost eerie. You could even hear Lizzie snoring in the next room over. It was hard to believe just how much of a blur today was. Summer sure did slip right past you. You flicked through the moments like pages in a scrapbook as you laid in bed. The ones that stuck out all seemed to include your new neighbor, Cove. It was funny how he had become such a big part of your life in such a short span of time. You thought a lot about what adventures you could have tomorrow until sleep started to catch up with you. Then you heard something scrape against the window. It wasn't uncommon for the wind to push against a tree branch and push that against the glass. Summer breezes were the worst sometimes, but the more you tried to ignore it, the louder it seemed like it became. It was like something was trying to get your attention. You lifted your head off the pillow to get a better look. Nothing was there. Nothing you could see, at least. I had to investigate the mysterious sound. It was too creepy to ignore. You practically jumped out of bed and crept down the stairs to go outside. Your moms were still awake. They stayed up so late, it seemed. Luckily, they were watching TV and didn't hear the soft click of the front door opening as you slipped past. Dog, where's the front door? I always assumed, like, from this angle, it was, like, behind where we're looking. So I'm like, how the fuck did they not see me? Why the silence? What's silence? Gaslights you. You looked around the neighborhood for a few seconds, checking over each individual house. It looked normal, but it didn't feel that way. You knew you weren't supposed to be out here right now. It was exhilarating. Your chest was light, and you couldn't keep the grin from your face. No one had permitted you to go out. In fact, no one even knew you were out. And yet, here you were. You wondered what else you could do. What other rules were so ingrained that you had never even considered that they could be broken? Oh. Cove. Oh my god, look at your little sweater. That's so cute. We've never seen him in this fit before, y'all. We never seen him in this fit before. You twitched at the sudden call, immediately calming down upon seeing Cove walking up to you. Are you supposed to be out? It was strange, and yet also completely normal, to have him appear like this right now. What are you doing? I saw you standing around in the middle of the street from my window. You weren't sleeping either? Why not? Cove turned up his lips to a smile, almost as if he were amused by the question. Because... Did you hear a weird noise? You could tell you hit the nail on the head by the way his eyes widened. Yeah, you knew? I heard it too. That's why you came out, huh? Cove hesitated for a moment, looking down the street before his aquamarine eyes fell on you again. Did it scare you? A little. Me too. I feel better that you're here. Me too. The two of you delicately smiled at that. Cove even chuckled a bit. It was nice that you both felt the same way about things. I was kind of wondering if it was the wind, but what if it's not? What if it's a person? What if it's something that's not a person? The unsettling noise suddenly rushed through the air. Cove and you flinched. It sounds even worse than before. You were about to agree with him when the noise came yet again, tearing through the still night. The two of you rapidly looked around, trying to find the source, but to no avail. There was no sign of an answer to this puzzle. You thought that... It could be anything. It had to be a ghost. It has to be. And I know a thing or two about ghosts. Invisible, creepy thing luring children from their beds. It had to be a monster. You were torn between the curiosity of discovering what the noise really was and being scared enough to want to run straight home and hide under the bed covers. When you and Cove locked eyes, it was like speaking without words. Your mutual anxiety hadn't gone away entirely. Hey, can you tell where it's coming from? Then we'll have to look more, somewhere else. Maybe we'll see something? Okay, let's go. You clustered together as you walked the familiar streets of your neighborhood, drawing strength from each other's presence. Shadows cut corners and angles where you didn't expect them, distorting the features you saw every day. The noise came again, shrill and hard. It set your teeth on edge the way it ground its way through you. Cove's throat bobbed. His eyes glistened in the dim light. Take my hand, take my hand. You really wanted to be there for him and wanted to show that. Your hand was left up for him to take. Cove's mouth opened wordlessly. There was a pause, but ultimately he accepted the offer. His hand was really sweaty, but it didn't bother you. You were scared too, but being able to comfort Cove was the most important thing right now. Cove shut his eyes and pressed his lips together. Your fingers locked around each other even tighter. Where do you want to check? The park, the beach, the hills behind my house. Ooh, where should we check, you guys? I mean, if I could hear it from my house, and you could hear it from your house, I feel like we should check the hills. You and Cove ascended the hill, lit only by the stars in the night sky. The wind rippled through the grass and ruffled your hair. Without the sun's light to translate what you were seeing, every bush in the distance looked like a creepy figure or a towering monster. The noise was just as loud here as it was in your neighborhood, with just a little indication behind the cause. You kept going forward. You ran away. You snuck back to your neighborhood. Let's keep going. You couldn't stop when you had already gone so far. You had to find out what was going on. The top of the hill was an excellent vantage point to survey the town from. Everything appeared normal. There was no out-of-place sight pinpointing the answer to this mystery. Without visible markers to guide your way, you supposed it was up to you and Cove to deduce the source of the sound. The hill had many great hiding places, and you tended to check them all. You upturned rocks, peered up trees, and rummaged in the thick grass for anything that might bring some closure on all this. You snuck close to Cove as you hunted for the source of the noise. When the shrieking noise shook the air, seeing him beside you calmed your racing heart. Seeking to ease your nerves and put aside thoughts of what might be out this dark, spooky night, you decided to strike up a conversation. Your search for a topic was more fruitful than your search for the noise. Your eyes fell on Cove's cast, and you were instantly inspired. Have you broken any other bones?
No.
Oh. It turned out that wasn't much of an engaging topic for him after all. Dude, I did sprain my ankle once when I was roller... Actually, it wasn't my ankle, it was my wrist. I've never broken any bone. Lucky. That put an end to your injury discussion, but Cove's calmer mood alleviated the bleak atmosphere like you hoped it would. Cove cast his eyes out to the darkness, feeling bolder. Does this make you feel strange? We were people who heard weird noises at night and are out looking for it, what it is. It's like we're at the start of a book or movie and we're the main characters. Yeah. It's a horror story, it's an action story, it's a fantasy story, it's a documentary. It's a fantasy story. I don't want to be in a horror story, the fuck? The world they found outside looked like their own, but it wasn't. They had stepped into another dimension without even knowing.
Really?
Really. How do you confuse your ankle with your wrist? I didn't confuse them. It's just I was thinking about how my ankle hurts from sitting on it for so long right now. Speaking of, I gotta stretch my bones. Yeah, but yeah, really. Yep. It's a dimension where everyone has been cursed to sleep until the monster making the noise is defeated. How are we going to defeat the monster? We'll find magical swords that can defeat the dreaded beast with one blow. Okay. Well, whatever the noise was, you were confident that you had established that it was not coming from the hill. Once you were satisfied nothing out of the ordinary was to be found on the hill, you had considered your next step. Dude, we gotta check the... Let's go to the beach. The beach stretched out in front of you. Nothing in sight along its sands, no matter which way you turned. I need somebody to make, like, a map of this place, because I swear, like, I don't know the layout of things. Because we say, like, the hills are behind our house, but I'm like, I just need to know where, like, everything is. Part of you had imagined the noise... Did I read this last part? Part of you had imagined the noise as some creature of the deep washed up on the shore and calling for aid. That theory had been taken off the list for now. Still, you spent enough time on the shore to know that the real finds often required a sharp eye and careful action. I think I said attention, but that's fine. The sound was no more than a whimper now. Emboldened, you kept your head high and walked along the sand. Let's see if there's anything here. Cove began to comb the beach for clues, and you followed suit. The angry wind sent grains of sand rolling across the beach like waves. You stayed clear of the water, which was rough and choppy tonight, and scoured the area for hints as to what might be happening. You saw something glint in the sand, full of promise, and when you eagerly uncovered it, you found that it was just foil from a chip packet. You stowed it away with a sigh. Did you find something? Yeah, garbage. Cove shrugged and gave you a sympathetic smile. That's how it goes sometimes. You like hunting for treasures on the beach too, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever found anything mysterious or weird? You were expecting him to mull the question over for a bit, but Cove answered immediately. Teeth. Like a shark's tooth? You'd seen those for sale in shops, though you've never been lucky enough to stumble across one at the beach. No, not that. People teeth. No, Yeah. You know how grown-ups sometimes don't have their own teeth any longer, and they get fake ones so they can still eat? You nodded, listening in fascinated horror. I found some. The top half. How'd you know it was the top half? It had the pink top of the mouth bit, like this. He opened wide and pointed to the roof of his mouth. You let out a squeal. What did you do with them? Mom took them from me. I don't know what happened to it after that. That was... Wait. That was way stranger than the stuff I've seen. The weirdest thing I remember was a key ring with Lizzie's name on it, but it wasn't actually hers. Yeah, he meant dentures. The coincidence was much made much less special by the fact that it actually said Liz, a moniker your sister had never taken.
Neat.
Yet. Neat. He's so cute. Look at him. Cove was still tickled by your discovery, even though it wasn't as exciting as his. As you contemplated your options, it occurred to you that you hadn't heard the noise for a while. Cove, I think it's gone. Cove perked up at this. You watched as he listened for the scary sound that had become the background noise to your adventure.
You're right.
You both stood awkwardly in the now silent night. Without the mysterious call to lead you, there wasn't a reason to stay out here any longer. The night was still as you walked home, with none of the usual background noises or the eerie whistle from before. You could hear every step you and Cove made like a cough in a movie theater. The two of you came to halt outside your front door. Never before had it looked so ominous. Looks like they haven't called the cops, so I'm probably alright. Do you sneak out a lot? Lots. You were telling the truth. Lots. You were lying. This is my first time. Yeah, I've never tried to do it till now. Thought so. How'd you know? I hadn't seen you out of my window this late before. That was fair. Though it could have been possible that you were just so good at sneaking that this was the first time he'd actually caught you. Are you worried about getting caught?
No.
He was so forthright that you believed him completely. But your dad, won't he get mad or sad if he catches you? He's never happy with what I do. Oh. Your dad's just worried about you. He cares. It doesn't matter if he worries if he's the one who makes things worse. Alright, I'm going in.
Bye.
Okay, good night. Good night, Cove. Thanks for coming with me tonight. I'm not sure I could have done it by myself. I wanted to go with you. Hearing that caused your face to heat up. You turned the doorknob as slowly as a clock's minute hand, holding your breath for the telltale click of the lock, then nudged it open. When all that happened was the door opening, rather than the blaring alarms that you feared, you melted with relief. Back inside your house, you were surprised to find your mom still watching TV. Weirder still, it looked like they were on the same show as they were watching before you left. Yet you were positive you'd been out investigating for hours. Dude, it really was that we walked into an alternate dimension. Oh shit. Perhaps you could use their distraction to your advantage. If you could just get up the stairs, you would be safe from suspicion. But how could you get there? Dude, I'm gonna walk nonchalantly. Sometimes the best thing you could do was to hide in plain sight. You strode across the room in the direction of the stairs. Luke? Your moms knew you were up, but they had no idea why. They abandoned the couch and their show to hurry over. They were still in a state of surprise. You weren't in trouble yet.
Are you okay?
What are you doing down here, sweetie? Did you have a bad dream? I'm lying. I'm gonna lie. You couldn't bring yourself to own up to what you had just done. I heard scary noises, so I came down here. Their surprise gave way to concern.
Sweetie.
Honey. Your mom took you by the hand and led you up the stairs. Oof, your hand is cold. Why didn't you come over to us? I was supposed to be in bed. Luke, you won't ever be in trouble for coming to us when you're frightened. We'd much rather you came to us than try to solve things all by yourself. Yeah, I would never do that. I would never do that. You just left out the part that you also went outside. Exactly. That's not lying. That's just omitting a little bit of the truth. Her phrasing made you feel bad. The nervousness ate at you as you were tucked into bed. Your moms assumed that you flushing and insistence on delving under the covers was part of your fear, and spoke to you softly until you calmed down enough to peep out from underneath your sheets. Once your moms had left, you turned over the night's adventures in your mind. It was still hard to believe that you'd really done it. It was harder still to believe that you'd gotten away with it. Even now, you half expected to be caught somehow. Perhaps you'd left the door ajar, or trailed sand where they'd already swept up. You hoped that Cove had gotten home okay, though he hadn't been worried being told off was never fun. Wriggling down deeper underneath the sheets, your thoughts turned to the unsolved mystery. You and Cove had only just begun to scratch the surface of it. Maybe you'd solve it and maybe you wouldn't. But knowing that you had shared it with him made you feel like you were being tickled from the inside. You hugged a pillow to your chest, tossing and turning as you replayed the night's events in your mind, daydreaming about different ways they could have gone. Any fear or danger that might have been there was entirely overshadowed by thinking on how close you had been with Cove the entire trip. Your daydreams ushered you into sleep with a smile on your face.
Dang, are we never gonna find out what the noise was? Like, if we had went to the park, like, would that have been it? I don't know.
Hi, Leantas, how you doing? I'm good. I hope you're good.
The next morning proceeded mostly like usual, though your mom seemed to be giving extra considerations since finding you last night. You later learned Cove didn't end up in trouble for the nightly escapade either. It was unclear whether that was because his dad chose not to punish him or if Cove got away with it. It was amazing to you that it all worked out for you both. As for the sounds that started this all, the adults around were convinced it was nothing more than the wind. For your imaginative mind, that wasn't nearly enough. Thank you so much for the follow. Where was I? Oh, how could they accept something so simple so easily? Maybe it'd make more sense when you were grown up too. Man, I wonder if we could figure out what that is. Like, I think I saved right before. Here, wait, if we load, we can load this one and go back just to see. I can't skip because I haven't seen this. Oh no, there we go. What if I just went back to bed? That's funny as fuck. Let's see. Let's see a little. It had to be a ghost. It just had to be.
Not really.
Take my hand, Ocean Man.
So...
Okay, let's go to the park. The private playground was empty as ever, yet the mysterious sound could still be heard, hanging heavy and ominous in the air. Go, go, go. You couldn't stop when you had already gone so far. You had to find out what was going on. Cove was practically shaking when he realized it had progressed far enough to reach there. He swallowed hard, but faced you with a determined face. My dad says, good detective work starts at home. He watches a lot of crime shows, so maybe it's good to take a closer look. Okay. The two of you swept through every corridor of the park. No monkey bar, swing, or tire went unchecked. Huh. He was squatting on the ground, squinting at something in his hand. Intrigued, you checked over his shoulder so you could see too. Cove held it in his open palm. Coiled inside was a length of sparkly chain, grains of sand embedded in its fine links. Lifting it up, it became apparent how this came to be here. You'd seen bracelets and necklaces enough to recognize that the clasp which held it together had snapped. It's broken. It's silver. Werewolves hate silver. Other things too, I think, if this noise is caused by a monster. We can protect ourselves with it. Yeah. He flicked the chain as if cracking a tiny whip. I wonder if there's anything else we could use out here. Cove considered this, frowning. I should have grabbed some garlic before I left. His frown evolved into a scowl. It probably wouldn't have worked. Dad doesn't have real garlic. He gets fake garlic? It's little flakes in a jar. Not real balls you have to cut up like Mom uses. Flakes might be easier to use. We could sprinkle them around as we walked.
I guess.
From his begrudging tone, you could tell that he was still firmly on the side of fresh garlic. Even though you had exhausted all the possible places to search in the park, the sound still rang through the air, mocking you. Should we look somewhere else? Man, it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to find shit. Yeah, it seems like it's the same. Should we see what happens
No.
when we lie?
I guess.
I guess. Ha, let's do a horror story. Little do they know they were playing into the hands of the evil sea witch. A sea witch? She sleeps for 100 years at a time, waking hungry, hungry for children. Cove's lip wobbled. I don't like that story. Should I be mean? Good. Scared children taste the best.
No.
No, that's not fair. She's licking her scaly lips right now. If you don't stop, I'll go home. You can fight her yourself. Okay, she found something to eat in the fridge and fell asleep again. How can a sea witch have a fridge? It would electrocute all the fish. It didn't really happen, it was a story. Cove simply huffed. I still didn't like it. Well, whatever the noise was, you were confident that you two had established that it was not coming from the hill. You stretched out, arms reaching toward the sky like you were about to grab one of the twinkling stars. Your body was feeling heavy now, no longer spurred by fear and adrenaline. However, the noise had not been located. You listened to it, hoping for it to come. It didn't. It's gone. Stop it. What was it in the first place? If I knew that, I wouldn't be out here. Then that was it. There was no need to stay out any longer. Huh. Yeah, I sneak out. I like being out late. Me too. It's not a big deal. He looked at the ground sheepishly, like recalling how frightened he had been up until just recently. Usually. Are you worried about getting caught?
No.
Let's go. Let's sneak past. You hug the wall as you creep delicately around the perimeter. It was a valiant effort that any spy would have been proud of, right up until the moment when you tripped over a power cord and nearly fell over. Let's see what happens if we get in trouble.
Are you okay?
I'm telling the truth. I went out to find what was causing a noise. Time's due to drag as the color drained from your mom's faces.
Huh?
Out where? Out of your bedroom? That's what you mean, right? You pointed to the front door, confirming their worst fears, while we remained frozen in shock while Mom launched into lecturing mode. Luke Cryptid, it is not safe to be out at this time of night by yourself. If something was wrong, you should have come to us. I thought you knew better than that. I trusted you know better than that. Anything could have happened to you. If we don't know where you are, it's a lot harder to keep you safe. Her voice was soft, yet it still cut deep. You pawed at the ground with your feet. What they were saying made sense. It was scary. I don't like being scared. I just wanted to see what was out there.
Sweetie.
Honey. You're brave for facing your fears, but you need to be smart, too. It was scary because it might have been possibly something dangerous, right? Yeah. Go back to your bed. We'll talk about this in the morning. Man, and we'll never find out the noise. And then I got yelled at in the morning. In the morning, the lecture continued, but ultimately your mom's let you off with a warning. I want to see what happens if we just don't say shit. Their surprise gave way to concern, and the two shared a look.
Sweetie.
Just don't say anything. Okay. Let's go back. Let's go back to the correct timeline. Let's do the barbecue. You've been brought along to the big park today, which did an excellent job of living up to its title. I remember we came here like when we were older. Guess the noise is always moving, so you can't actually find it. It seems that way, yeah. One sec. The park near your house, with its lonely playground equipment, wasn't even a quarter of the size of the expanse of grass and trees that lay before you now. As it was in the next town over and too far for you to walk to by yourself, you didn't get to visit it much, and so you soaked up the environment.
Another difference between this park and the one in your neighborhood was that this one had visitors other than you, Lizzie, Shiloh, and Cove. Duh. Today was the busiest you'd ever seen, thanks to the community get-together, luring people in from all over the local area with the promise of barbecue and fireworks. Woo! Dude, I could literally go for some barbecue right now. Stop playing with me. I think I'm just hungry. Your family and Coves were just two of many. What seemed like dozens of cars were parked up already when you arrived. You saw Cove hesitate as he looked into the growing gaggle of strangers. By your mommy, Lizzie bouncing on the balls of her feet, barely containing her excitement. I was a big bag, and I'm hungry. The crowd made you nervous. You couldn't wait for the fireworks. You looked forward to meeting more kids. You'd rather have stayed home. Your tummy was already rumbling for the food. Yes. It was gonna be so good. Bro, me and Cove about to be big backs as fuck. Mommy had told you that the people running the community event weren't charging for it, but she wanted them to get something in return. Which is why you'd not been allowed to touch the beautifully iced cupcakes she had carried on her lap during the drive over. It was a special treat for them. Every time the car made a turn, she clutched the box tight enough for her knuckles to strain, much to everyone else's amusement. Mr. Holden's contribution to the event, a huge pack of juice boxes, was tucked under his arm after being retrieved from the car's trunk. Did we all drive together? You bet there had been no such dramatics about the cargo getting here in one piece, but the box did lack the beautiful shimmer of Mommy's treasured cupcakes.
Okie dokie.
I want a picture of the cupcake, bro. Okie dokie, everyone all set? Should be. Cove, did you put sunscreen on before we left? Yeah, I always do. You don't have to tell me. Mr. Holden deflated, his attempt at caring for his son rebuffed, but he triumphed with a smile.
Good kid.
Good kid. I don't want you getting burned, or dehydrated either. It'll be a busy day.
Well,
Don't think there's gonna be any risk of that second part. Sorry, wrong mom. Mom nodded at the tables up ahead, laden with all kinds of food and drink. She was right, there was plenty to go around. Dude, I'm so hungry. The parents headed over, with you, Lizzie, and Cove trailing after them. A bunch of grown-ups were clustered around there, chatting, but you were more intrigued by what was on the table. Some of it was familiar. Chilled meat, sliced vegetables, big bags of chips, but there was a lot you didn't recognize. Your mom had said you weren't to touch the food until they said it was time to eat. Bruh. Bro, I could have just a little as a treat. If you could nab something and pop it in your mouth without anyone noticing, no one could be upset. You chose to grab a baby tomato, a small carrot, a cocktail sausage, a rolled up piece of ham, a potato chip, a tortilla chip. Dude, a cocktail sausage. You put the whole thing in your mouth and chewed as surreptitiously as you could manage. Cove definitely caught what you were up to. Luckily, he seemed to think it was funny and only smirked quietly. You saw that Mommy and Mr. Holden had deposited the food and drink they'd bought. Mommy gave the cupcakes one final worried look before turning to you with a smile. Since that's the topic at hand, how about we freshen up with something to drink? Yeah! That'd be great. Along with the ones out, there was a giant ice cooler on the ground stuffed full of cans of soda, boxes of juice and milk, as well as bottles of water. Your drink was... I want juice. You slurped the sweet juice through the straw until all too soon you were sucking up only air. Your little group took breaks while everyone quenched their thirst. Mr. Holden smacked his lips, pantomiming enjoyment. That hit the spot. But you kids should go have fun. You can take your stuff with you and join the other kids playing games. Just don't go too far from the tables. We'll be keeping an eye out, so don't even think about sneaking off. We're not going to the other parts of the park today. Lizzie huffed at their comments. They did sound directed at her, but she scanned the surroundings, nodding her head toward a group of kids like a general directing their battalion. She pointed the way.
Come on!
Come on, let's go over there. Cove's mouth was downturned as he looked from the parents and the other adults to the new kids, clearly not favoring either option. But ultimately, he hunched his shoulders and tagged along after Lizzie. I'm gonna go play with the other kids because I want to go see Cove. You followed after Lizzie and Cove, who were waiting for you on the outskirts of the group of parents. Hurry up! You picked up the pace, moving into a jog, but when Lizzie pelted away at full speed, you and Cove had no choice but to break out into a run. The other kids were far out in the field. Still, at your speed, it wasn't long until you reached them. As you approached, they turned around to greet the newcomers.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Lizzie. That's my little brother Luke. The one with the cast is Cove. Hi. Cove simply lifted a hand in greeting. There was a chorus of hellos and names from the other kids. One of the kids looked to be about Lizzie's age or older. A couple seemed to be the same age as you and Cove, and there was one tiny little thing with his arms folded over his chest. What are you up to? The first kid, a boy with curly black hair and neon green sneakers, who'd introduced himself as Hayden, shrugged as he looked to the others. Not much. The second kid to pipe up, Lisa, had half her face obscured behind huge glasses she wore. We haven't decided yet. She glanced wistfully over her shoulder. Following her gaze, you saw the spray of water first and heard the shriek of as someone got splashed in the face before you spotted the person shooting them. Some people are playing with water guns, but there aren't any left. The smallest kid, Noah, grumbled at that. You guessed that's why he was sulking. Spencer, who hadn't said much, patted his shoulder. So that's out. A new kid raced over with a glint in her eye and her braids streaming behind her. You spotted a plastic orange pistol in her hand too late, when the trigger had already been pressed. Ah, rude! Hey! Lizzie, who had been caught first, was fuming. Cove wiped water from his face. You rubbed at your ear, trying to dislodge the water that had pooled there. Watch out, he has a cast. Worried, you looked at Cove's plastered arm. You knew that he had to be careful with it around water. It's okay. The girl simply darted off to find more victims, unaffected by your reaction. I'm not going to actually go with this, but I just want to see what happens if I push her. Without a water pistol, your only option to get her away was your hands. The girl staggered backwards, face twisted in indignation. Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? Ugh, I want to say all of these things. You shouldn't spray people. Man, she don't give a fuck. You got him wet and he has a cast. The girl simply darted off to find more victims, unaffected by your reaction. She doesn't mean anything by it. Lizzie tutted, flicking her hair out of her face. The girl, not meaning anything by it, didn't change the fact that she had been sprayed. Cove looked similarly unimpressed. Lisa's face lit up as she had an idea. Oh? Hey, we should catch her. She won't be able to spray people if she's running away from everybody. True. Let's traumatize her. Yeah. Cove nodded as the other kids murmured their interest, or lack of it, in the game. Let's do it. Nobody's gonna be mean to my Pookie Wookie bear. Oh my gosh, hold on. I gotta stir my drink. Oops, I don't think I actually read that. You joined the group of kids tearing off after the girl with the pistol. Spotting you all up over her shoulder, she laughed and shot her pistol in the air, only a couple of drops squeezed out. She swerved, causing discord within your team as someone stood on your foot and you collided with Cove's shoulder. Whoops. Cove shot you a smile that gave you a feeling of camaraderie. It's okay. You were closing in on the girl, but you weren't alone. Lizzie's face was set with intent. The two older kids were hot on her heels, too.
You outran them easily, you outran them with effort. You weren't as fast as them because they were speedy. You weren't as fast as them because you just weren't fast. I'm gonna outrun them with effort. This is my fantasy to play. In reality, I would not be running. I'd be doing like a light jog because I really don't give a fuck. You push yourself, willing your legs to move just that bit faster. You were close, and then you tackled her to the ground. You did it. The girl who had been caught giggled as she got to her feet, brushing strands of grass from her knees. Smiling, plus I had to impress my Pookie Bear. Smiling, Cove came to a stop at your side. Lizzie whooped with delight, clapping her hands. The boy with the bright sneakers grinned. You're it now. Catch us if you can. Yeah. I'll do it. You won't get away from me. With that, you all dispersed, squealing and laughing as you tried to evade capture. The sour mood from earlier had evaporated entirely, replaced by a light and playful atmosphere. Several rounds later, when most of the kids had taken at least one turn as it, the scent of smoke wafted up to your nose. Caught by surprise, you looked up and found that the brilliant blue of the sky had turned orange as the sun sank down on the horizon. With all the excitement, you lost track of time completely. Looking over, you saw people standing over the grills and poking them to life. It was nearly time to eat. You should get over here. I'm so hungry. Our parents are at different spots. Yeah. Bye. It was cool playing. Yep. Bye. See you. You waved goodbye to the other group of kids before hurrying over to your parents with Lizzie and Cove. A tickle unfurled in your throat, growing more persistent as you came closer to the source of smoke. As the three of you approached the tables, your parents spotted you and came to join you halfway. You tried to greet them, but another cough obstructed your words. Oof, that's quite a cough. Are you all right, sweetie? I'm good. Are you sure? No one needs to go up to the grills if they don't want to. Just let me know what you need. There's no response from the other two kids here. I don't know what I want to do. Part of me is like, nah, can you do it? No, I can do it. I can get it myself. Alright, but tell me if it gets too much for you.
So,
The main thing being served is kebabs. You can have whatever you like on it. There's different meats and veggies. As you approach, you found a vast array of bits and pieces, ready to be skewered and served up. You chose. I want... I want chicken, beef, onions, peppers, potatoes, and that's it. Sounds good to me. Oh my god, that sounds busting right now. Guys, I think I'm really hungry right now. Sounds good to me. The veggies will be good for you. Order given. You waited for your food to be ready. Lizzie headed towards you, having issued her own request. Do you have anything to eat? See, but I can't eat because I'm trying to read. Lizzie headed towards you, having issued her own request. Hi again. I heard what you ordered. I'm getting a chicken kebab with all 3 colors of peppers. I want all 3 colors of peppers too. Noticing that Cove approached, she turned to him. What are you having?
why?
Why does it matter? Guess you'll have to build a feast after stream is over. I think I'm gonna make ramen. Or see if there's a sandwich in there that I want. Why does it matter? I don't know, I was just asking. I'm getting beef and shrimp with all the vegetables except onions. Lizzie hummed while evaluating his response. That's okay, I guess, but chicken is definitely the better one. Dude, chicken is bomb. I don't like shrimp, Cove. Yuckies. And then you can eat all the chicken. I'm going to. I want some chicken too. All the chicken in the world? Good man, onions are ass. Onions are not ass, bro. Onions are good. I used to not like onions, but I like onions now. I also like peppers. I don't know what to say, because, like, I want some chicken too, but also, like, all of the chicken in the world is really fucking funny, and, like, that is some shit I would say. All the chicken in the world? No, that's dumb. You know what I mean. Rude. Okay, I want some chicken too.
Oh yeah, I can let you have some still. You're welcome.
Lizzie peered over to the grills where the kebabs were being handed out. A growing assortment of kebabs collected in your parents' hands.
They're coming over. Don't get jealous of mine when you realize you made the wrong choice, Cove.
I didn't make the wrong choice. Hi, LaRox. I can only eat onions and peppers if they're cooked. Yeah. I'm not gonna eat a fucking raw onion, dog. Like, I wouldn't get, like, raw onion, like on something. No. I mean cooked. Goofy. Ah. We all made good choices. It's just what kebab somebody eats. The person serving gave your mommy one final kebab, then your parents moved over to rejoin you. Between them, they were carrying 6 kebabs, one for each of you, including Cove and Mr. Holden.
We've got the goods. Cove's daddy's looking for a place we can sit.
In the meantime, they began passing out the kebabs to their rightful owners. Lizzie smiled smugly as she received hers.
These are pretty big. Careful not to drop it. Try not to poke yourselves with the ends either. They're sharper than you might think.
Hearing that, you tentatively pushed the tip of the skewer against your finger. It felt like the point of a newly sharpened pencil. Though it didn't hurt your hand, you wouldn't want it scraping the roof of your mouth or jabbing your tongue. Mommy clucked her tongue. Bah, 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 bah.
It would have been nice if the options were a little easier to manage and less messy to eat, especially for the smaller kids. There aren't even plates for anyone, so we could set the food down for a second.
True.
That's what you get for the price of free. But we can hack it, right? Lizzie nodded her head vigorously, clutching her kebab like a trophy. Your parents led you back to the tables. It was immediately evident why Mr. Holden had been sent to scout one out. The benches had quickly filled up as people got their food. I want food, I am hungry. Mr. Holden was standing over a corner section near the edges of the sitting area. He beckoned your group over to join him. You clambered onto the bench, taking care not to let your kebab slip from your fingers. Cove took a seat next to you, and Lizzie took the other side. Your mom passed the final unclaimed kebab over to Mr. Holden.
Thank you.
Thanks, this looks delicious. People like raw onions. Well, I'm not most people.
Thank you for getting us space out here.
Everyone tucked into their food. You gobbled it up eagerly, only partially obstructed by the awkwardness of eating from a skewer. Running around with the other kids had helped you work up an appetite.
Mr. Holden, what do you do?
Well,
I do a lot of things.
Do you play golf?
Only if you count mini golf. One look at Lizzie's stricken face confirmed that she did not. She could enjoy the occasional round at a mini golf place, especially if she had an audience to impress, but your sister took her passion very seriously. Even then, it's been years since I gave it a shot. Cove groaned at the feeble pun. Mom chuckled. You weren't sure if she was responding to the joke, Cove's annoyance, or Lizzie's offense.
Don't worry about it.
Just as well. She'd be dragging you to the green every week. That's because I've got dedication. You need a good drive or two to get far.
Mr. Holden nodded, clicked his tongue in appreciation. Cove looked from his father to your sister, lost in the conversation. Outclassed in golf and wit.
I don't get it.
I wouldn't get it either if I didn't live with her. I have to hear this stuff all the time.
You should give real golf a try. Maybe I'll even teach you some tricks.
Don't try to change my dad to be more like you. Lizzie gave Cove a dirty look at the accusation. Mommy felt the need to move the topic ahead before it got heated.
Oh, nice.
I'm surprised a kid that small can play real golf. I mean, she's like 10 or 11 or something like that. And she's like said to be taller than the rest of us. So, I mean, kids can really start anything at any age, it seems.
That's really sweet of you, but I'm sure Mr. Holden is busy. He might not have time for another hobby.
Yeah, I don't think I'm made for that. Still, the offer is appreciated.
Why?
Then tell me something you really do already. You just go away every day.
I like scuba diving, though with the business. That's more work than play these days. Surfing and reading, snorkeling. Those are things Cove likes. Mr. Holden exaggeratedly puffed out his chest. What can I say? My boy's got good taste. He takes after his dad in that way. The sun had been setting when you'd got your food, but by the time you'd finished the night had truly fallen. Your sticky fingers were the only remaining evidence of your meal. The kebab had been a great combination, more than the sum of its parts. The seasoning of freedom to choose every ingredient by yourself. I did do that. Get out of here. More than the sum of its parts, the seasoning of freedom to choose every ingredient yourself was what made it something to remember. Rising from the table, Mommy held up her water bottle. Okay, now that the food is gone, you've got to wash your hands. Okay.
Luke, Lizzie, please hold them out. Lizzie complied, coming over and cupping her hands together in front of her. Mom splashed some water on her fingers and Lizzie rubbed them together, working off any residue. Here. Mommy passed her a paper towel from her purse and Lizzie used it to dry off her hands. Your turn, Luke.
Yes, dear. I don't want sticky hands, so.
Copying Lizzie, you washed your hands, taking care to clean every crevice between your fingers before wiping them dry. Nearby, Cove had taken his own course of action, wiping his hands on his pants and leaving a stain where his fingers had been. Ugh, we need to beat this habit out of him before it gets worse. Considering this is a habit he has when he's older. Mr. Holden shook his head.
Come on.
Let's clean that off, pal. He scrubbed at the fabric with a scrunched up napkin. Dad, it's not that bad. When everyone was cleaned up, or as clean as they could be with the limited facilities, Mom spoke up.
Let's go.
Let's go make one last check at the coolers and restock on drinks before the fireworks show. No time. We have to get a good spot. Everyone's gonna be taken.
How about I go ahead into save space again? You can meet up with me in the field after getting the drinks.
Then I'm going with Cove's dad. I'll find the perfect place.
Okay.
Sure thing. I could use an extra pair of eyes. Mommy shook her head ruefully at Lizzie's even more enthusiastic than usual attitude.
That's fine.
All right. Me, Cliff, and Lizzie can go find a place to sit. Pam, Cove, and Luke, do you want to go get the drinks?
Okay. I'll get all the stuff we need, don't worry.
As Mommy, Lizzie, and Mr. Holden headed off into the wide open field where the fireworks were being set up, you joined Cove and Mom in returning to the cooler where you'd pick up drinks earlier. Even as you approached, you suspected you wouldn't find much in it. Where it had originally been stocked to the brim, it was now half empty. The ice, which had cushioned the drinks and kept them cool, was largely melted, with only a handful of pieces floating like tiny icebergs. Slim pickings. The drinks that remained looked to be bottles of plain water, but you got a glimpse of something more colorful in amongst them. Mom rummaged around in the cooler, excavating a couple of juice boxes from the bottom in the process.
Aha.
Aha! Luke, Cove, you can take one of those if you want. The perks of helping. Yes. Cove hesitated, but decided to take a juice box for himself. When you were each loaded up with your chosen drink, plus an extra bottle or two for someone else in the group, Mom's phone started to ring. She juggled the water bottles over into the crook of her arm and looked at the caller. It's Mommy. Hold tight while I get this.
How are you?
Hey, hon. How's it going? Did you find our perfect spot already? She nodded along to the call, punctuated by ahas, as Mommy gave her directions. Catching her eye, she gestured toward the grassy area. We've got a place. Come on, we better hurry before the show starts. You and Cove jogged after your mom, who led you through the field and the separate groups of people assembled there, back to the rest of your families.
Hello.
It's true, we would miss out on all the cute kid bits. We gotta build up and build a relationship. Oh, did I read this? I can't remember. Hello, we're here, and we come bearing drinks, although there wasn't much left. The three of you handed over the spare drinks. You gave Lizzie a bottle of water, but she only had eyes for your juice box. Luke and Cove have juice. They helped get the drinks. You got to pick where we sat. Don't be selfish.
No.
I'm not. Good, then you're going to be thanking us for bringing your very own water bottle. Thanks. Once everyone had been equipped with a drink for the big event, you sat on the grass beside Cove and waited for the magic to begin. Most people in the park had taken a seat now, with a few stragglers silhouetted back at the tables in the distance. A few rambunctious kids were still dashing about, but their number was steadily decreasing as their parents called them over and restored order. Someone bearing a cardboard box weaved between the groups, pausing every so often. You nudged Cove and pointed. What are they doing? It looks like they're handing something out, but I can't make out what it is.
What a pickle.
I hope it's not drinks. Mommy chuckled, but Lizzie and Cove were now watching the bestower of mystery goods keenly. Are they gonna come to us, too? Mom softly put her hands on top of your sister's shoulders, as if she feared Lizzie might bolt over to the stranger. Lizzie didn't even glance at her, eyes locked onto the potential prize. I don't know.
In that case,
We'll have to wait and see.
I was intrigued.
Studying the man with the box closely as he gradually meandered nearer, you could make out what he was holding, what he was handing out. Small items to most of the groups he stopped at. They seemed too short to be water bottles, but beyond that, it remained a mystery. Bubbles, maybe? Then the box man made his way to your group. Evening, I'm handing out dessert. Any takers? There's dessert? Lizzie squealed, hopping up off the ground. The man chuckled. Oh, you don't just got like vanilla? I'm going to take that as a yes. Ice cream's on the menu. Vanilla flavored with a twist of either chocolate or strawberry syrup. I guess chocolate.
Nice.
Nice. None for me, though. Thanks. Same, but the offer is appreciated. I want chocolate. Can I have strawberry? And a strawberry for me, too, please.
Now you're going to have to make a decision. Chocolate or strawberry?
Chocolate, I guess. Reaching into the box, the man brought out the little requested ice creams and tossed them out. It came packaged in a little plastic cup, complete with a wooden spoon stuck to the paper lid. I wish they were just vanilla. The condensation wet your fingers in a pleasant way.
thank
Strawberry
you.
all the way? Ugh, nah, no. No. More for you, though, I guess. Thank you. Kids, are you going to thank the nice man, too? There was a chorus of thanks, and he cordially nodded and walked off to another group. The man couldn't spend much time with each group, considering how many he had to get to. You peeled the tab that covered the ice cream and got right into your unexpected treat. It tasted amazing. Lizzie was definitely enjoying hers. Cove was too. You couldn't stop thinking about how Cove had strawberry while you had chocolate. You want a bit of mine? I definitely don't want a bite of yours, sorry. He looked around, awkwardly but nodded nonetheless. Listen, I know Cove's a big back, though. He's gonna eat anything. It don't even matter. Listen, I say that / pause. You caught a bit of ice cream, making sure to hit the chocolate swirl that distinguished it from Cove's, and held it out for him. He nibbled at it. Do you want some of mine?
No, but, you know.
He scooped out a chunk of ice cream with his wooden spoon before holding it out to you. You took it gladly. See, in this instance, I would lie and say that I wanted some just to be able to, like, be like, oh my god, we're sharing spoons. It was gone in one bite because I couldn't stand to have more of it.
Oh.
Aww. Mommy was gazing at the two of you. Her mouth was an open smile as if she was about to say something else, but Mom tugged on her collar. She said, "Stop it." Don't embarrass them. Hey, if you're sharing, I'll take some. You don't need it. You both have the same flavor.
So?
So what? You can have some, I guess. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the best. She enthusiastically took a bite of your ice cream before then offering you a bite of hers in exchange. In the end, that kind of made it pointless. You each just ate the same chocolate ice cream out of different cups. Your mommy did like to say it was the thought that counted, though. Ignoring the conundrum, Lizzie turned her attention back to her own cup of ice cream. Lizzie munched away happily, but it ultimately didn't succeed in monopolizing her attention. Eyes wide, she looked at her mommy and pulled at her pants.
Please!
I didn't get strawberry. Can I have some of yours, please?
Of course.
Of course, sweetie. Lizzie cooed with excitement as mommy presented her with a dollop of the ice cream and syrup mixture. Licking her lips, Lizzie lapped it up. Mommy, come on now. Lizzie has had all the ice cream she needs. She simply laughed and pinched Lizzie's cheeks, then dug her spoon in again and held it out to you. I just can't resist. Luke, would you like some of mine? I don't even like strawberry, but sure. He's got a whole cup of ice cream to eat already and had a bite of Cove's and Lizzie's. I think that's plenty. But that's not the same as getting a little extra from your mommy. Well, listen, I gotta take it. We are gay. We are. This is our life Yowie edition. You ate the treat being offered, much to Mom's chagrin and Mommy's delight. Cove watched the exchange silently with a blank expression. Mom, on the other hand, shook her head, a fond smile on her face. You gotta share with Cove, too. Well, you better at least give me some, too. You could have gotten your own if you wanted ice cream.
What?
What? The kids have ice cream already, and they're getting some of yours to boot, and I have nothing. Now is when you decide to be firm. Laughing, Mommy fed some ice cream to your sulking mom. She could never actually follow through with being tough.
There.
There. All better now. Yes. Good. How about you, Cliff? Would you like some? No, I'm still okay, but thanks for keeping me in mind. Cove, it's only fair that you get a choice, too. Cove shook his head firmly, concentrating on his own cup. Mommy smiled. Okay, as long as no one's feeling left out. Mommy was always so nice to everyone. Then the first firework cut through the sky, whistling as it ascended until it hit its crescendo with an explosion. Yowie Wenkus. Not soon. Probably not until next stage or the stage after, I would assume. I know that I think we do get to kiss technically next stage, but we're not playing that story. We're only doing the DLCs, so we'll see. Then the first firework cut through the sky, whistling as it ascended until it hit its crescendo with an explosion. The park flashed as if alight. Squealing, Lizzie leapt to her feet, her forgotten ice cream tumbling to the ground as the firework crackled into tiny drops of glitter in the sky. It's starting! Everyone else looked up to the sky as another firework whizzed through the air. With each explosion, Lizzie would jump into the air. Woo! I'm gonna say it's impossible to tear my eyes away. Cove sat by his dad, captivated by the sky's sparkles and flashes overhead. Mr. Holden watched the fireworks scene impassively. He did smile at you, and even gave a thumbs up when he noticed you were looking over. Mommy hopped to her feet, pulling Mom up with her, pushing her to joining Lizzie and jumping up in tandem with every crack of a firework. Mommy then bent down to offer a hand up to you two. Sure. Dude, I'm beckoning. Cove, you come too. Cove got to his feet, nervously tailing after you as you stood with your family. Your mom's faces lit up, literally and metaphorically, as you approached. The five of you shrieked and leapt along with the sparkles in the sky, not trying to contain your joy at experiencing the sights together. The fireworks continued, some twisting like the coil of a spring as they arched into the air, others shooting straight from the ground and shattering into a million tiny specks. Every color got its spotlight in the show, from fiery reds to eerie greens and blues that could rival the ocean. The show built up to a grand finale that boomed over the park and filled every inch of the sky. The twinkling lights represented the full spectrum of the rainbow. The exhilaration that had fueled you while the fireworks were going off was sapped dry now that the show had finished. You collapsed into a giggling heap on the ground, suddenly aware of how your legs ached from your exertion. Cove tumbled down with you, his expression gleeful. Mr. Holden watched his son with an expression much happier than the one he'd worn while watching the show. Lizzie gave a final whoop of delight and shared a high five with Mom as Mommy shouted for an encore into the night. You didn't know what that meant, but you liked the way it made Mom laugh. Though the sun had gone down long ago, the air on your bare arms was warm. You took in your giddy family, their spirits buoyed by the firework display. Then your new friend and his father, who looked happy in their own quieter way, and smiled. This had been a pretty special night.
Ah, sorry, I just got fucking flashbanged again. Let's see. Should we do a quick BRB before we go on to the next one? Let me hit a save ski just in case. Am I sure? Yes. Let's do a quick little BRB. And we'll be back with Runaway. I guess we're running away from home. I could, yeah. That's my, low-key my plan. I'm gonna get a little snacky. Or see what I can do. And stretch. I'll be right back, y'all.
Sin.
Oh, dang. I came back just in time. Hello!
Welcome in, everybody.
Hello!
How are we?
How are we?
I was getting a fat little snack.
I was hungry. They kept talking about food in the game, and I was like, I'm hungry.
I want food.
Welcome in, Corey! Thank you so much for the raid!
What are we playing? Snufkin Melody of Moomin Valley. Dude, Snufkin mention. Moomin mention. What? I don't know what that game is, but it sounds good. It sounds good. We're playing some Our Life. Well, again, it is February, so, you know, I play more visual novels than usual. Last year, I was a crack addict, and I played, like, a different type of dating sim or visual novel every single day. This time, I'm just spicing some more in there than usual. So, that's my disclaimer. So that way I can freely play some other stuff in between. But we played Our Life, and we finished it. We got married and everything. But I had gotten some of the DLCs. So we're playing the DLCs now, which we have not seen previously. So the top row is all of like the main game story stuff, and then obviously where it says DLC on the bottom, that's all the DLC shit. And this game is broken into different stages of life. 4 of them. We're in step 1 still, so we're still little like baby guys, but we do grow up and whatnot. It was good. At one point, I was Solid Snake Snowkin. That's crazy.
Yeah, I did play this,
And I'm back. I'm back 1 year later. Basically. I think we started it in February, but we finished it like way after that. I don't remember when though. I'd have to look. Box and everything. No box. We did have a big poofy hat. Hey, that's close enough. That's close enough. But yeah, thank you so much for the raid. If you need to run and get some food or whatnot, by all means do so. And that goes for everybody else too. But if not, feel free to stay and watch us grow up and be a little guy. I don't know. I think I'm gonna get to the end of this step and then probably end because, you know, I gotta get a little bit in there. I gotta get us ready for next time, of course. It was early, and you were on your way to the playground. Our playground, obviously. Lizzie planned on joining you there later. You weren't sure what she was busy with right now. Older kid stuff, you imagined. That was okay. What was forefront in your mind was if Cove might be free to come too. We gotta have Pookie there. As you walked the familiar street, wondering how you might find your neighbor, he appeared right in front of you, almost as if he was a mind reader. Cove, if you're reading my mind right now, blink twice. 1. Oh my god, oh my god. Guys, he blinked twice, he can read my mind. Real, not clickbait. Cove, I was looking for you. Come to the playground with me.
No.
No, sorry.
What do you mean, no? When Pookie says no, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do now, huh? Cove looked strangely serious. It had to be an even bigger deal than whatever mystery thing Lizzie had to do. Lizzie is my sister. I don't remember if it said that.
I'm leaving, Luke.
What do you mean you're leaving? What? Where? He shifted. You're Your gaze was drawn to the backpack slung over his shoulders. You know, you're right. I did notice you wearing that backpack, but I didn't think anything about it. Cove liked to stuff things into his pocket, from what you've seen, but people sometimes carried bags with them and hadn't been very attention-worthy until now. Exactly! The pack was decorated with cartoon waves and dolphins. He gripped one of the straps tightly with his good hand. Oh. I just wanted you to know. Ooh. Cove didn't glance up and meet your eyes. You started to grow worried. Wait, can I go? I'll come with you. Can I go too? Where? He looked up at that. He hoped you would agree. You hoped he would agree. But instead, he shook his head. I'll come back, though. Sometime. I don't know when. But we can do stuff then. I'm not gonna lie, I still have a little bit left of my sandwich left. He directed a fragile smile your way. Without another word, Cove turned on his heel and started to walk away. Wait! He kept going. His focus wasn't on you anymore. What was that about? I don't know. Then you realized you were still standing in the middle of the sidewalk. You thought about your earlier plan at playing at the park. Suddenly, it didn't seem fun anymore. Not without Cove. SMH. But it wasn't like you could force him to play with you. He had things to do. And apparently places to go. Should we go to the park? Let's go to the park. It was still sad Cove couldn't be there, or wouldn't be there, but you wanted to stick with the plans that you had on your own. Maybe Cove and his dad were going on a vacation, and that had to be it. You reasoned. After all, Cove said he was going to be back. He wasn't moving again. You resolved to spend time with Cove when you next saw him. Next time, for sure. After a couple of hours at the playground by yourself, it had gotten firmly into the afternoon. Okay. You were on the swing set with your feet buried in the sand when you spotted Lizzie in the distance. She was rushing over like something was on her tail, chasing her. You knew she would be coming, but was she that excited to get to the park? Instead of nabbing the swing beside yours, Lizzie stopped in front of you. She bent over, balanced on her hands and knees, and panted.
Did you hear?
Hear what? Lizzie bounced back up, her eyes blown wide. You only saw her this worked up when she found the new hiding place of Mom's sugar stash.
It's about Cove.
Cove? Something in the pit of your stomach dropped at hearing his name. You listened intently as Lizzie explained.
I just came out when I saw lots of people gathered around in the middle of the street. They were talking and kind of quietly, so I don't think I was supposed to hear. But that just means it was important. So I snuck up, and I heard everything.
She paused dramatically. Clearly she wanted you to say something. What did you hear? Seeing that she had your attention, Lizzie continued.
Cove is missing.
But I just saw him.
He left a piece of paper for Mr. Holden to tell him he was going away. And would be gone for a long time. And no one's seen him since.
That's actually funny because I saw him.
Now they're searching the whole neighborhood. The grown-ups were even saying that if they don't find Cove soon, they'll call the police.
The police?
This was horrible. You had seen Cove. You knew he was going someplace, but you had no idea it was like that. Was Cove going to be arrested for running away? You thought you might have to go to jail too for not saying anything and letting him go. You glanced back at Lizzie. Should you tell her that you'd known about Cove leaving, or would it be better to keep that to yourself? I mean, I guess we should tell her, right? Actually, Lizzie, I saw Cove. He told me he was gonna go before I went to the park. What? Really? The silly little worries of children who don't understand how the justice system works. No, for real. You nodded seriously. Oh, you could be in big trouble if a grown-up found out you didn't tell anybody Cove was being weird. She crossed her arms over her chest, sticking her nose in the air.
You're welcome.
You're lucky I won't telling you. You're welcome. Thanks, Lizzie. You were happy that Lizzie had your back. She always did when it came to potential trouble. She just grinned at her own interpretation of her favor. You watched as your sister began to pace in front of you. I know Mom said Cove was sad about moving here, but running away from home is crazy. And I take another bite of my sandwich.
Jeez.
Where else is he gonna go anyway? I want to find him. Lizzie scrunched up her face, thinking deeply for a moment. Then she nodded and planted her hands on her hips, determined. I'm gonna look too. You are? We can play at the park any day, and the more people there are looking, the quicker someone will find him. That's actually not a dumb thing to say. Maybe I'll be the one who does. I'm the best at hide and seek after all. I mean, maybe. It seemed like Lizzie wanted to look not only because she was concerned about Cove, but also because it was the most interesting thing to happen this week. Wish me luck. Good luck. Before you could say anything, she ran off in the opposite direction from where she came. You were left in the dust in a matter of moments. That was your sister for you. But Lizzie's appearance in this crisis faded to the back of your mind just as quickly. Cove, Pookie Bear, come home. He told his dad he was leaving to go somewhere by himself. Why did Cove suddenly decide to do that? Today, of all days. Did something bad happen? It was impossible to say for sure. Unfortunately, you had no idea where he could have gone. You thought hard. There were the hills behind your house. He had gone there the first time you met. But someone would have checked there already. They didn't need the police for that. Cove must be far away or hiding somewhere if the whole neighborhood was looking for him. You swung back and forth, your lips pursed in contemplation. If I were Cove, where would I go? Where would we go, chat? Lizzie had said Cove was crazy for running away from home, but he never considered Sunset Bird his home, did he? His real home was somewhere else. There was only one place that came to mind that might be important enough for Cove to go off like this. It was a good idea, except how was he going to get there? Could he take a bus? Was he going to walk the whole way? You didn't know what direction he needed to take. But wait. There was only one way he could go. Going down the street just led to the beach, so that couldn't be right. Going to either side would mean he'd get stuck by buildings and fences and big slopes, like the one behind your house. That left going up the street. You knew that road. It led to the main part of town and kept going all the way to city limits. Cove didn't know the area well. You didn't think he would want to go off that road onto some random other street. Which meant if someone followed that path, they might find him somewhere along it. The grown-ups seemed to be looking in the neighborhood, so... Let's see if I could tell them where to search. You rushed to where you had abandoned your flip-flops and slipped them on. Then, cause like, listen, if I just go and I don't even try to tell them, then I'm gonna get in trouble. They slapped against the sand as you left the playground. On your way home, you spotted Mom almost instantly. You must know about Cove. She must know about Cove and was looking too, because she was wearing a worried frown. Her expression cleared up when she saw you walking towards her. Luke, I'm glad you're here. Cove is... She cut herself off, sighing deeply. Why don't you head inside? I need to stay out for a bit longer. Something is going on right now, but we'll take care of it. I already know what's going on, Mom. Don't worry. Basically, Mom, what happened was... Mom tried to usher you into the house, but you didn't budge from where you stood. I know where Cove went.
What?
What? How did you even find out he's missing already? She shook her head before she could answer. You know what? That's not important right now. Where is it, Luke? You told her your hunch. She listened intently. The main street. That's not good. I'll drive down there to make sure he doesn't get too far. Mom muttered that more to herself than you, but you heard her all the same. I'm gonna come with you. Can I come with you? Mom turned back to you and shook her head.
I'm really sorry.
I'm sure you're worried about Cove, and that's good, but I need you to wait at home with Mommy. If I find him, I'll bring him straight here, okay? You were disappointed, but you nodded. She stroked your cheek, smiling softly. Mom guided you to the house with with one hand on your shoulder. You both went in. Man, should I go back and just search for him by myself? Mommy quickly appeared. She must have been waiting nearby. There was a phone in her hand. It worried you, thinking about who she might have been talking to. Mom briefly explained what happened before she grabbed her car keys. Mommy saw her out. Soon after, you were herded into the kitchen. You sat at the table while Mommy microwaved leftovers, which you gobbled up. You hadn't even realized how hungry you were. The two of you settled into the living room after that. Mommy put on a cartoon on the TV for you to watch while you waited. You snuggled up against her side as you watched the show, warm and safe. Your mind was still on Cove. I think I'm gonna go do the wrong thing. I can't sit here and not go search for my mans. I'm gonna go look for him by myself. There was no time to lose. You rushed it. Yeah, let me get that stuff. Hold on. Before we find him. You went right up along the main street, keeping an eye out for Cove. No one else had the same idea as you, it seemed, because you were completely alone there. You passed through your whole neighborhood, and then the next one over, and the next. You hurried down the sidewalk as fast as you could without running. Oops, I think I skipped one. Oh, no, I didn't. You recalled Lizzie's comment about hide and seek. It really did feel like Cove was hiding from you somewhere, and you had to find him. You kept walking. You even called out for Cove a few times, but you didn't see that familiar mop of green hair anywhere. Uh-oh, we're about to get in trouble now. Maybe I should have done it the other way, like I was. Hold on, wait. If I take this last bite, then I'll be done. I'll be done. I won't have to wait anymore. Sandwich consumed, hunger back down to normal. Bad end incoming, we get hit by a car and die. After a while, the sun began to dip out of the sky. It would be dark soon, and there was no sign of your neighbor. You weren't even in the residential district by this point. You had reached the central part of town. The area was at once strange and familiar. You'd been here before, of course, but never without your moms close by. They would drive you. Not even Lizzie was allowed to come here by herself. Would Cove had been determined enough to go even further? Cove? You shouted his name a few times, as you'd done periodically this entire time, but there was nothing. Maybe he's not going this way. Was he somewhere else? Had someone found him already? Guys, should we turn back or keep going?
I don't know. Is this an excuse to like drink my drink? Maybe. Maybe Anne. It would be so romantic if you actually find him though. That's true. That's what I'm saying. Guys, let's keep going. Let's be stupid. Listen, you know, we're kids. We're allowed to do stupid things right now. You were able to make it this far. You had to continue the search. With that in mind, you pushed yourself to walk a little faster. People said this was a really tiny town, but to you it felt absolutely gigantic. Eventually, the business part of town ended too. There was no sidewalk anymore, only a long expanse of road. You walked on the grass instead. Onward was the only option. Your journey stubbornly continued. Your feet hurt, you were tired, and you were on your own, but somehow you reached the very edge of Sunset Bird. That was what the sign told you. You lived in Sunset Bird forever, and it was a very rare occasion that you'd seen this sign. Most everything in your life happened inside the city limits. The endless road ahead seemed scary in a way. It paralyzed you, and finally put an end to your forward momentum. You scanned your surroundings instead of dwelling on that. You deeply hoped he hadn't gone past that sign either. Hey Cove, where are you? The previous times you'd called his names, there had been no answer. You couldn't be surprised that no one didn't come this time either until... Luke? Dude, we found him! A dark blob just behind one of the exit sign's legs shifted. You squinted as it continued to move. The more you stared, the more your eyes adjusted, and the more that dark blob resembled a person, and you realized just who it was. It was Cove! He was here! You actually found him! He hesitantly got up from where he'd been sitting, as if to make sure he actually heard something. Then he caught sight of you, his eyes wide behind his glasses. There you are! Are you crazy? I'm so happy you're here. I've been looking everywhere for you. I knew you'd be here. Oops. There you are, bitch. Holy shit. Cove finally blinked as you ran up to him, your feet still aching. How did you find me? 'Cause I know you, bitch. I know you. You said you were leaving and you've always wanted to go back home, so I thought you must have come this way.
Oh.
And that was all he said after all of this. Maybe he didn't realize how seriously the adults were taking it. Are you okay? Yeah. He didn't look okay. His brows were pinched and his shoulders tense. You got the feeling pointing that out wouldn't help matters. Everyone's looking for you. That caught his attention. He frowned at you.
Really?
They are? Yeah, the whole neighborhood. Lizzie told me they might even call the police. We might get arrested. What? Why? I don't know, because you tried to run away, probably. And I knew, so I'm your, accomplice. Was that the word? You thought so. You'd heard it before, on those detective shows Mommy liked to watch. We're not gonna be arrested. How do you know? Although Cove said that, he looked a little worried over the news. Come on, Cove, let's go home.
No.
No. He spoke crossly. You were thirsty and exhausted, and you weren't sure you could keep going back and forth about this. Why? Why can't we just go? Your unhappiness caused him to waver, but not budge. At first, Cove was quiet. You started to think he won't say anything. Then he spoke. My mom called today to check up on me and stuff. She asked what Sunset Bird was like and how I was doing. It was okay. But when I asked if she'll come here, Mom said she couldn't. I can't go back either, not right now. She has to move somewhere else first. Cove glared at the ground. His voice cracked as he continued.
It's not fair.
Why can't I even see her anymore?
He used his uncasted arm to rub both of his eyes. I'm gonna go myself. I don't need anyone to take me. That's such a bad idea. You're never gonna be able to get to where she is all by yourself. Cove glared back, refusing to accept that reality. Then he shook his head, like he was trying to clear it. When he spoke some more, it was mostly to himself. If I don't go to see Mom, then she's... Fresh tears glistened in Cove's red-rimmed eyes. He stubbornly tried to blink them away, but they slipped down his cheeks. Your heart twisted in your chest. No matter what, you hated seeing him cry. You can tell me. Mom doesn't call that much, and I haven't seen her in so long. Cove hiccuped, wiping his face with the back of his arm. His glasses got shoved up awkwardly as a result. If I don't go, she'll be gone. She'll forget about me. She wouldn't do that. How do you know? 'Cause nobody could ever forget you, Cove. His cheeks pinkened. Flustered, you broke eye contact and looked down. Cove sniffled. He seemed conflicted. I'm not sure if that's right. You were at a standstill.
Cove?
Everything will be okay if we just go home.
Why is he being a bitch right now? We're both gonna get in trouble at this point. Listen, you know what? Fuck it.
Then we'll stay out here. I'm not gonna go back.
His lower lip trembled at your declaration.
Are you sure? You don't have to. We can still go. You can still go home without me. You didn't leave a letter or anything.
I'm sure.
Thanks.
The final part of his statement was whispered.
You're always there when I think I'm gonna be by myself.
And that was that from him. Both of you shuffled toward the sign. He sat near it again, and you followed, crossing your legs under yourself. He zipped open his backpack and offered you a snack, which you took. You hadn't had dinner, so you were hungry. There was a feeling of camaraderie in the silence as you ate. Do you think they called the police after all? Everyone must be still looking for Cove, and you too now.
No, probably not.
You didn't sound confident, though. You still hoped he was right. You didn't want to go to jail. You weren't sure how much time passed. All you knew was that one moment you were letting your eyelids droop while huddling near Cove under the sign. The next, you were snapped back to attention by the blaring beep of a horn. Cove froze. You have to run to see a car approaching you. It was difficult to make out who it was. The headlights were so blinding. Instead of continuing down the road, the car slowed near where you sat. The window rolled down, revealing the face behind the wheel. It was very familiar. Is it my mom?
Mom!
She shouted back, not just because there was some distance between you and her.
What are you kids doing here? I've been looking for you everywhere!
Cove needed to go someplace. She stopped looking at you, instead staring hard straight ahead. Both her hands were gripping the wheel. Guilt ate you up from the inside.
Right.
Get in. Let's go. Let's get you two home.
That, at least, made her showing up worth it. Your feet were aching like crazy from all the walking you'd done today. You yanked the side door, slipped inside the back seat, then clambered over so Cove had enough room to climb in too. He followed in wordlessly, tucking his backpack near his feet. Your mom looked at you and Cove from the rearview mirror.
The two of you had us extremely worried. That wasn't a good thing to do. Not at all.
Shamefaced, you both nodded as one.
Sorry.
Sorry, Mrs. Cryptid.
Sorry, Mom. She softened immediately. Not enough to actually let it go, though.
You'll have to apologize to everyone else, too.
With that, Mom started the car up again. You were off. For the rest of the car ride, no one said anything. You thought all of you were pretty tired. In fact, you must have dozed off at some point because you woke up to the sound of the engine stopping. When you looked around to get a sense of your surroundings, you realized Cove was leaning his head on you. He might have been asleep before this, too. The moment your eyes met, he turned away.
We're back.
You yawned and got out of the car. Cove came out after, putting his backpack on again. Mom locked the car door and motioned you two towards the house.
She opened the front door and let you go in first. Mommy appeared quickly. She must have been waiting nearby. There was a phone in her hand. It worried you, thinking about who she might have been talking to. The tight line of her shoulders relaxed when she saw you and Cove. Oh, thank goodness you found both of them. Yeah, I did. They were at the actual end of town, right under the now leaving sign. What were you two doing there this time of night? Do you have any idea how far that is? How unsafe? You peeked at Cove. He still looked exhausted. His eyes were puffy and they were dried to tear tracks stuck to his cheeks. I wanted to see my mom. Luke came to get me. Your own moms shared a look. You weren't sure what it meant, but they always did that. You wondered if they could read each other's minds. Since they were communicating telepathically, you stole a gaze around the house. Lizzie wasn't anywhere in sight. Could she still be outside searching for Cove still? Where's Lizzie? Your sister's in her room fast asleep, the same way you should have been. She came back earlier. She had been out looking for Cove after accidentally finding out he was missing. She tried to pretend otherwise, but she was worried. She said she checked all the hiding places she could think of, but she still couldn't find Cove. You and Cove exchanged remorseful glances at that. Mommy noticed the discomfort.
Okay.
You two must be sleepy. You can sit down wherever you like. Mommy smiled warmly and motioned to the living room. Cove looked up at her, then lumbered over. You followed closely behind. The living room wasn't far, or separated by a wall, so you heard your moms talking softly. He wanted to go see his mother. Poor thing.
Well,
That explains it, at least. Still, I'm not sure it excuses it. It was so dangerous to go off into town like that. He's having a hard time right now. You can't expect a child to handle it maturely. True, it can't be helped. But that's enough of that. We should tell Cliff and the others that he's here before the panic gets out of hand. There could be riots.
is that all right?
I'll call and then go to the front to tell everyone still out there. You keep an eye on the kids, make sure they don't take any more trips today. Got it, hun. Cove just sat there on the couch, setting his backpack down beside him. He stared at his hands. I'm sorry, Luke. You faced him quietly. I didn't want to make you feel bad. I don't want to fight. Oh my gosh, what did I just drop? Oh. It was my hot sauce. It's empty though, I think. Oh yeah, it is. Come here, bitch. No. Me trying not to use my hands. I almost had it. Oh no. I almost had it using my phone. Damn. Okay. I'll actually use my proper appendages. There we go. I was trying to take the lazy way out and it just wasn't working. And you won't do it again? I won't. Not for real. Okay, I don't want to fight either. Having him apologize did make you feel better. He looked relieved that the two of you were going to be able to get past this. You had more to say to Cove and to ask him, but before you could, the front door opened. Your mom was back, and Mr. Holden close behind her. He made a beeline for the couch, his gaze trained on his son.
Cove?
Cove? God, are you alright? Strands of his hair had fallen out of his ponytail, and his eyes were darkened, like he'd been crying too. Cove stared up at his dad, his own eyes wide beyond the frames of his glasses. He really hadn't expected it to be such a big deal. Sorry. I'm okay. Good, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. He clasped a hand on his son's shoulder, attempting a smile, but the corners of his lips twitched and spasmed as he wanted to wilt into a frown instead.
Cove seemed to have that effect on him. Mr. Holden turned to you, still smiling weakly. I'm happy you're alright too, Luke. Then he looked at your moms. Thanks for your help, as always. He laughed pitifully.
I'm sorry.
And I'm very sorry for ruining your afternoon with this. I can't apologize enough.
It's okay.
It was no problem. It was no trouble, Cliff, really. It couldn't be helped in a way. Something was bound to happen sometime. Dude, I have something stuck in my tooth. Besides, he wasn't the only one who decided it was a good idea to disappear today. Exactly. We're just happy the kids are safe and sound. Not for the first time today. Or that day. You recalled your original meeting with Cove. He had run away then, too, only not as far as he had today. Cove must have had a similar thought because he mumbled an apology. Sorry, Dad. I won't leave anymore. Promise. Some life seemed to return to Mr. Holden, thanks to his promise. This time around, his smile was more genuine.
I'm so glad.
That's a relief to hear. Next time you feel like running off, come to me first, okay? We can talk about it. I'm here for you. Cove nodded. His dad reached out and mussed his hair playfully. Although he made a face, Cove didn't try to dodge the hand as he usually did. Come on, bud. Let's go home. I'd bet you're as tired as I am. Mr. Holden took over carrying Cove's backpack, still clasped a free hand on his son's shoulder when he stood up from the couch. The five of you walked over to the front door so you could see them off. Mr. Holden thanked your moms profusely at least 3 more times before he walked out the door. Cove was made to follow. But he stopped and turned to you before stepping through the threshold.
Thanks.
Thanks, Luke. Good thing I was there. A tiny smile flitted across his lips. There, and then gone. Hug time! Before he was gone, you reached over to give him a hug goodbye after a hard day. He held you back more tightly than you could have anticipated, and you almost squeaked out a noise. I'm glad you're here. His embrace was tight but brief. He let go as soon as he said what he wanted to. And with that, Cove left. Mommy closed the door behind them. You were practically dead on your feet at that point. Your fatigue must have been obvious because your mom sent you right up to bed with no more discussions on what happened that day. Once your head hit the pillow, your eyes slipped closed on their own. Your eyelids were so heavy that you couldn't open them again until the next morning. You woke up much more at ease than when you felt you were... Then you had... Blah, 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 blah. I'm having a stroke. Than you had felt when you were last conscious. It was almost like it was a dream. But it definitely wasn't. Your mom's faces when you saw them assured that. After breakfast, you were sat down and your family went over yesterday's events in full. They were none too pleased that you went out to find Cove on your own. As punishment, your moms took away your TV privileges for the next few days. Lizzie was annoyed that she couldn't watch her shows with you around, but she adjusted. Whenever you expressed disappointment, your moms reminded you that they weren't punishing you for no reason. It was dangerous to go out on your own so late, and without telling anyone. You could have gotten hurt, or worse. As upset as you were, you understood. Mr. Holden talked to Cove about what happened, too. You didn't know what was said exactly, but Mr. Holden forgave Cove immediately. He didn't do anything to punish Cove for running away. He blamed no one but himself for Cove's desire to leave home. You caught your moms discussing it once in hushed tones, frowning at each other. It was pretty serious. There was a word used that you hadn't heard before. I don't even know how to say that. Flagellation? But there wasn't anything they could do to change Mr. Holden's mind. Your neighbors stopped you and Cove often for the next week or so to express their concerns and disapproval of the event. Still, as they always did, days continued to pass, so did talk about Cove running away. Things eventually returned to normal, as they had to. Summer kept going and you kept having experiences you shared with Cove. Listen, I had to run away. I didn't even run away, bro. I was just saving a friend. All right, one more sleepover.
Okay.
All right, kids, we're done with dinner. Come to the table. Your stomach grumbled, right on time. As if it heard your mom's words, you halted your game and looked over. Mom was almost done setting the table. She was walking around the mahogany wood in the process of putting down cutlery. Mommy was still in the kitchen, humming under her breath as she turned off the stove and put empty pots in the sink to wash. From beside you, Lizzie stirred, uncrossing her legs and standing up. She stretched her arms above her head.
Finally, I'm ready to eat.
Then she cast a sly glance in your direction. You recognized that look.
Last one to the table is a rotten egg.
I haven't... But it was too late. Lizzie had already bolted toward the kitchen. You tried to catch up to her. You stayed sitting. You yelled out to her. I'm probably going to yell. You weren't going to give chase. She had a head start, and unfairly, too. I don't care if you get there first. I'm not a rotten egg. She paid you no mind. Her head was firmly in the game. It was a short distance to the kitchen table. Lizzie managed to get there easily enough, slapping hand over the wood. Mom moved just before Lizzie could bump into her. With an exasperated sigh, she resumed her work.
I win again.
You didn't win because you were racing by yourself. Because you cheated. Okay, you won. Because you cheated.
I didn't cheat.
You ran before me.
Yeah, because that's how racing works. The one who starts first wins.
That isn't true.
That sounds like something a rotten egg would say.
Lizzie grinned, her hands on her hips, then looked over your shoulder.
Cove, you could be the tiebreaker. Was this a real race that I told he won?
You blinked. You hadn't even noticed that what he'd been doing during this little event, which wasn't much. You spotted Cove still on the floor. His legs were crossed beneath him, the arm with the cast resting his lap. He looked at the two of you with a slight frown. It felt sort of strange to see him still here so late. Tonight, Cove had come to your house for a sleepover. Your mom's and his dad had planned it a few days ago. You were surprised. You had begged your moms to invite... You weren't surprised. You begged to invite Cove over one day. Yes. They promised that they would. Now they had made good on their word. You looked forward to it since the moment you found out. And you even helped Mom search the storage room for a sleeping bag and extra bedding to prepare for his visit. Cove pursed his lips at Lizzie's question, but he didn't respond. Maybe he was planning on ignoring her? Not that Lizzie would make it easy.
Come on.
Well, did I win or what?
No.
No.
What? I don't think you won. How come? It's not my fault Luke's slow. Cheating's cheating, and cheating's never win. Cheaters.
You always pick his side.
Cove snuck a shy peek at you before answering her.
I pick him and he picks me. You're a couple of rotten eggs then. That's enough. Nobody here is a loser or a rotten egg. You're each farm fresh. Which is a sentence I never thought I'd say.
All right.
Ooh, sorry. This is unrelated completely, but I just thought about it. If y'all don't know, I have two friends, Kylie and Matt. And Kylie lives in England and Matt is American. And he finally, well, he's visited her once before, but he's visited her again, and he just got like there today. And so we were in a VC, and he was making her try like a bunch of like Mexican candy because he's Mexican. And it was so funny. There was like certain things that she was like, okay, this is not bad. And then I don't even know what it was. They had this one thing that was like this like long like stick. And watching Matt bite into it, I thought he was about to break all of his fucking teeth. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, I just choked. I started to say something about something he gave her being too spicy. Yeah. Listen. She can't handle the spice. She can't. But we still love her anyways. She tried this like one thing that in their quotes was like covered in like white stuff, she said. And she's like, it looks so disgusting. It was so funny. And before anybody asks, no, we didn't see Kylie's face. We did see the back of her head, though. We saw Matt, but we didn't see Kylie. Because she didn't want to show, but it's okay. There was a funny fucking meme, though, where she was literally, I forget what the conversation was about, but we, like, broke Kylie at one point. And so, like, Matt just pans the camera over, and she's just, like, crouched on the floor. So it's, like, all we see is just the back of her head. And dude, she was wearing the pink sweater. She was wearing the pink sweater, or pink whatever the fuck it was. I was like, dude, it's just like the pictures. It's just like the silly little animated pictures, guys. That was her. Only her hairs were more darker. But I was like, dude, it's literally a little silly cartoon lady in the flesh. It was a funny day. It was a good day.
Now listen to Mom and come sit at the table for dinner, all three of you.
You and Lizzie obeyed, sitting across from each other at the edge of the table. Lizzie blew a raspberry at you while Mom turned her back. Blech. Two can play at that game. You stuck your tongue out right back. When Mommy pointedly cleared her throat, though, the two of you stopped. Your parents brought the last of the food, and then you took your seats further down the table instead of sitting right next to you and Lizzie. Only Cove was left out. He had stood up from his spot on the floor, but he hadn't made a move toward the kitchen. Cove, you can come sit too. So he had the 4 seats that were left. Thanks to the seating arrangement your parents chose, one free chair was beside you, another next to Lizzie, and the last 2 were on the other side of where your moms were sitting. Sit next to me. Cove's gaze met your green eyes. You smiled. Briefly, he grinned back. He walked over, pulled out the chair next to yours, and sat down. You were glad he wanted to sit with you. He just needed to know it was okay. Now that everyone was situated, Mommy began to pass out plates.
Okay.
Dig in, kids. I cooked a little bit of everything for dinner tonight. Be sure not to avoid all the veggies.
Ugh.
Yes, Mom. Listen, depends what the veggies are. Each person at the table served themselves, except for one. Cove hesitated again. He fidgeted with his hands clamped on the top of his knees. He didn't seem very comfortable doing stuff in someone else's house. One dish seemed to have his eye, at least. That's pineapple chicken. Want to try some? Not really, sorry. But then your moms had noted that Cove still had nothing on his plate as well. Do you not like any of the food, honey?
Well,
Maybe he hasn't tried Hawaiian food before. He hasn't? Wow. Please don't talk with your mouth full, Lizzie. Lizzie swallowed the bite she was eating, then she spoke again. He should try it now. She turned to Cove dramatically. Unless you want to shrink. That's what happens if you miss a meal. Elizabeth, that's not true. You know that. Listen, we already know he's gonna be, like, shooting up like a fucking sprout later. Cove squirmed under all the attention. He fidgeted with a fork between his fingers. I've had some things, just not any of this.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, shoot. I knew I should have asked your dad what your favorite foods were. It's all right, Lonnie. Maybe he'll find a new favorite today. You weren't so sure about that. Cove didn't look like he was going to be trying the food anytime soon. Give me your plate. Cove was a little confused by your request, but he handed it to you anyway. You took the plate from him and piled only the best foods on it. He watched you work intently, his good hand shoved underneath his leg. When you were... Oops, sorry. I just fucking skipped that shit. When you were satisfied with the amount on his plate, you returned it. You should like some of these.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Good job.
That was very kind of you, Luke. You puffed your chest out at the praise. At first, Cove poked at the food. Clearly, he was apprehensive to eat something new, but he took a few exploratory bites.
right?
It's good, huh? Isn't it? You don't have to keep asking. He still speared more meat with his fork and ate it, chewing thoughtfully. This is not bad. Mommy grinned at his words, satisfied even though it wasn't exactly a glowing commendation. Lizzie wasn't as mollified. You're so weird. Don't be mean to your friend. We're not friends.
Also, I love the fact that, like, him and Liz just be beefing for all of eternity. Like, I'm literally married to this man, and they're still beefing. Love that for them. Listen, I can definitely, like, if I wasn't, like, married to Cove, I'd been like, ugh, the dynamic could have been good. Between, like, him and Lizzie, like, definitely, like, brother-sister dynamic. But I'm married, so we have to change.
Oh.
Oh. She just went, oh. Mommy floundered in the face of Cove's blunt honesty. You weren't surprised by Clove? I kept doing that last time too, god damn it. You weren't surprised by Cove's declaration. The more you got to know him, the more you realized he wasn't the type of kid to keep his opinions to himself. In the end, you supposed that if the two of them didn't want to be friends, you couldn't force them to be. You hoped Cove thought you of his friends. The two of you were friends, right? You wondered how he felt about you. That still made you nervous about your own relationship with him. At least the two of you were definitely friends. Oh, we're definitely friends, whether he wants to be or not. You should just feed him the food. Tell him to say ah. I bet he would love that. No, he would. He would do it too. He'd be like, I'd be like, say ah, and then he'd be like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I doing that? Yeah, you just missed Clover too. Maybe it's time for that Zero Escape replay. Oh my god. Let me get up the emulator. If I play it again, I'm gonna play it on the DS and then cry. Because they don't have the fucking time chart.
Do, 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 do.
Hold on. There we go. I know, I'm gonna have to voice act everything. Let's see. I do wonder how I would feel about the first, at least like 999, knowing what like I know now. You get a couple of friends to voice all the characters. True. Do I know 9 people? I mean, I guess I'm one of them. So do I know 8 people? Oh, also, I've officially been typecasted for the bird game. I've got my bird. If you know, you know, and if you don't, you will. Guess which bird you think I am. At least the two of you were definitely friends. You knew that without a doubt. The way he felt about Lizzie didn't change it. When you gave Cove a look, he returned a small smile, confirming your thoughts. Your mommy looked at Mom only got a shrug.
No.
Elizabeth, don't call someone weird. There's no such thing as a weird person and a non-weird person. They're just different perspectives. And it's not a nice thing to say to someone, anyone. But Pam... Mommy tried to whisper exclusively to Mom. Her attempt to make it audible over the sounds of clanking silverware meant you caught the quiet words anyway. They're not friends. He said so. As parents, we could only try, and sometimes we fail. Oh, sorry. As parents, we can only try. Sometimes we fail. Not all kids will be as thick as thieves. But these kids are. Now, less talking and more eating, kids. You need to clean up and start winding down for bed soon. I say this not remembering all of them, but is it the rich bird? No. I guessed exactly correctly, and I am Ryota, the childhood best friend bird.
I knew I was gonna be typecasted as that, and I was. I think when I played How to Have a Boyfriend, I think I gave him kind of like Tavros from Homestuck. I'm gonna pretend that like what Mom is saying is what Ryota would be saying. I think I did it like,
Now, less talking and more eating, kids. You need to clean up and start winding down for bed soon.
I think that's the voice I gave him.
But, Mom...
No buts. We've talked about this. Your bedtime will be moved back in a few years. For now, you don't get to stay up late. Now I really want to see this. Is that good or bad? Lizzie sulked, muttering under her breath about how it wasn't right. You groaned about it as well. It seemed way too early to go to sleep.
Isn't that great?
The sooner you sleep, the sooner a brand new day will be here. I think that's pretty exciting. You weren't sure you agreed. The rest of dinner passed uneventfully. Cove was silent for most of it, even when you nudged him and tried to get him to talk. All too soon, the table was cleared, the games in the living room were put away, and you were all steered to your bedrooms. Mom finished tucking you in and kissed your brow just as Mommy poked her head into the room. All ready for lights off, you two? You were lying comfortably in your bed, the blanket hiked up under your armpits. You could kick it off later if it got too hot. Mom had set up the sleeping bag on the floor for Cove, just beside your bed. He had already wiggled inside. We are.
Good night.
Perfect. I'll go say goodnight to Lizzie then. Mom tweaked your nose, chuckled when you squawked in annoyance, and left. Mommy took her place, sitting on the edge of your bed.
Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams, sweetie. She pressed a soft kiss on your forehead. You giggled as strands of her hair fell forward and tickled you. Mommy smiled down affectionately at you, then moved her attention to Cove, who watched from his spot on the floor. He's like, damn, I don't even have one mom and you get to have two moms? That's so fucked up. I guess we'll have to see when it happens. Yup. I think it's on the 21st. Is that Saturday? I think it's the 21st that it is. I need to see if I'm gonna just, like, do a short stream of my own. Or if I could stream it too. I don't know. We'll see. I have to see when I get home that day. As is the 14th? Okay. I need to decide what I'm gonna do for my 14th, my Valentine's Day. I don't know. Like, what would you guys want as, like, a little special, like, Valentine's Day thing? I don't know. I don't know what you guys want. Like, what would make that a good Valentine's Day for you? Do you need anything before falling asleep, honey? What does your dad do? Oh, look at him without his little glasses. He's so cute. Sometimes he picks me up and lifts me really high and he shakes his hands like he's gonna let go, but he catches me again. He keeps doing that until sometimes he drops me on the bed, or other times he lowers me down and we pretend like I'm crashing. Cove had become pretty excited when talking about the nightly ritual he and his dad shared. He seemed to realize how animated he was and bashfully quieted. But I don't want to do that here.
Aww.
Aw, how fun. Although I think you're right that it might not be a good idea to do that tonight. The sleeping bag might not be a soft enough landing. If there was anything else, we can always ask me or Luke's other mom. But I'm the nicer one. Just don't tell her that. She laughed good-naturedly and stood up.
Take care.
Sleep well, Cove. Night. Leaning against the door jamb, she rested a hand on the light switch and looked at you. Good night, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. With a last smile, Mummy turned off the lights and stepped out, closing the bedroom door behind her. You listened to her footsteps fade as she walked down the hallway. But even now, as the sound vanished, your eyes stayed open. It was just you and Cove now. You hardly knew what to do with yourself. Hey, Cove, I'm happy I got to meet you. Cove was silent for a few moments before you heard his voice again through the darkness. Me too. You started when Cove sighed deeply. You turned your head to look in his direction. In the dark, you could see only a faint outline of a lump under the covers. Cove? What's wrong? I can't sleep. Why not? He shifted, or at least you thought he did. You couldn't see anything, since your eyes were still adjusting to the dark, but you heard his sleeping bag rustle. I want to be in my bed. Oh. Cove sat up. Your eyes had gotten used to the low light level, so you could see him better. He got out of the sleeping bag, wobbled towards your side table, and pulled open the top drawer. What is it? I'm getting my glasses. He sat up too, watching as he reached inside. He paused for a second, then pulled his hand out. Instead of his glasses, though, he was holding a book. Cove turned it around in his hands, trying to figure out the proper orientation for it. You knew even without reading the title which one it was. That was one your moms would read to you. It was special. What are you doing with that? Cove shrugged, squinting at the newly found cover in the dark. I just thought it looked cool. The compliment he afforded your special book had you grinning, your confusion forgotten. It is really cool.
Oh?
Well, yeah. What's it about? It's a story about a squire who wants to become a knight and there's magic. Does it have mermaids? No, but... I love the main character because the squire's really brave and funny. It has cool pictures. Some of them even take up the whole page. Mommy reads it to me. She uses different voices for every character. There's a dragon in it and crazy things happen. The squire tries to kill her because the king wants the dragon dead, so they have this fight. But then the squire finds out the dragon's really nice, and they decide they don't want to fight her after all, so the two of them become friends instead. Cove looked excited by your words. He flipped the book over and focused on the backside summary. His interest in it is only spurring your own. You were reminded of of hours you'd spent hearing the tales. No matter how many times you read it, or had it read to you, you were still entertained by the story and the pictures inside. You glanced out the window. The moon was high in the sky. You wanted to read the book with Cove. You climbed out of bed and padded over to your side table. You opened it and rummaged around, pushing aside stuffed toys and crayons. Cove called out to you in confusion, in a confused whisper. What are you doing? You didn't respond, letting the suspense build instead. You let out a quiet cry of victory when you found what you were looking for. You jumped back onto your bed before any hidden boogeyman could catch you unaware. Cove continued to watch as you wiggled your way beneath the blanket you discarded earlier. You pulled it over your head. What? Shh! Get under here already! Bring the book too. After a minute, the bed dipped as Cove got on it. Then the blanket shifted. You fiddled with the flashlight in your grip, feeling for the switch. And flash bang us all. Ah! With a click, the small space flooded with a bright light. Cove sputtered, putting a hand to shield himself up from the beam. Move it somewhere else. Oops. You tilted the flashlight so it shone directly on his face, giggling. Hey! You shifted again, making it shine down. You adopted an innocent expression while Cove scowled at you. Now we can read, and my moms won't know. I do this all the time. I always pretend to sleep when Mom and Mommy check on me. I've never been caught. It's so fun. Do you want to try? Cove nodded. Pleased by his straightforward response, you placed the book between you and flipped it open to the first page. Meanwhile, he laid down on his belly and shuffled closer, picking up the flashlight to shine it on the pages. His face was illuminated with a warm glow. You mirrored his position, leaning in so you could see the book better. Your foreheads nearly brushed, until you shuffled back a comfortable distance. You thought it was best to take turns reading the book silently. You flipped through the pages so Cove... I want the story to be narrated. You loved it when Mommy read to you. Why not read as loud as you dared this time of night? You didn't even need to study the page for long. There was once a squire who dreamed of knighthood. All they wanted was to do good. Cove was taken aback when you began to recite the words by heart. You can even pronounce knighthood properly, a word which had given you grief in the past. His reaction encouraged you to keep going. Soon you got to an exciting part, the squire and the dragon's first meeting. The squire walked up to the fearsome dragon, their borrowed sword in one hand and a torch in the other. Her red scales danced in the light like flickering flames. Could you say the dragon's lines? Do you need to get your glasses? No. My head hurts if I don't wear my glasses for a while. I can kind of see things alright, but I don't know any voices. That's okay. It's fun anyway. Let me just... Cove read the page, his mouth moving silently with the words. Eventually, he nodded to himself and spoke them out loud. Who goes there? Roared the dragon. Who dares enter my cave? It was your turn. You went into the squire's famous speech. The next time you looked up from the page, your gaze landed right on Cove. His eyes were following the text, a soft smile lighting up his features. A lock of his hair fell into his field of vision, but he gave it no notice. He was lost in the story. You started when Cove caught you watching. He raised a questioning eyebrow. What? Nothing. Cove shot you a strange look, but he went back to the book. You did too, even as your eyelids started to droop. When your eyes opened again, your bedroom was pitch black and silent. Your head was smushed in your pillow, your pajamas were sticking to you, and your mouth was dry. Slowly you raised yourself onto your elbows. You yawned, the back of your throat twinging as you did so. You rolled onto your side to sit up in bed, planning on getting water from the kitchen, when you saw a dark shape towering above you. You froze. Then you remembered you weren't alone in your room tonight. Cove? That you?
Yeah.
You shifted, felt something cylindrical press against your thigh. You fumbled for it. The familiar weight of the flashlight pressed into your palm. You turned it on. Cove blinked at you, looking exhausted. He was in his normal clothes again, shoes and everything. His pajama pants were left on the floor, abandoned. His sleeping bag was in a similar state. What is it? Can't sleep. I keep waking up. Did you have a bad dream? He shook his head from side to side. No, just can't sleep. It's weird here. You frowned. You'd helped your mom redecorate it only a few months back. I like my room. It's not that it's bad. I just always sleep in my bed, in my room. That made things a little clearer. It wasn't anything you'd done. Cove just couldn't sleep in a new place. You wondered how long it took for Cove's bedroom in his house to not be weird to him. Probably a while. I'm gonna go. What? That shook off the last of your doziness. He was gonna walk outside back to his house, this time of night, all by himself. He noted your shocked expression and looked at you with resolve. My dad will let me in. I've gone outside late before, and I have to go. You don't have to. You couldn't explain why you couldn't let him leave. You just knew you didn't want him to go yet. Cove looked frustrated, though you got the feeling it wasn't at you specifically. Yes, I do. You were at a stalemate. Frowning to yourself, you studied his sleeping bag. Was there a way you could make him more comfortable? If Cove didn't like how weird your room was, maybe he would feel better if he had something more familiar nearby. Oh! You went to your bed and grabbed your blanket. Then you spread it over the floor beside Cove's sleeping bag. He watched as you did, blinking. You're sleeping on the floor? Yeah, next to you. If that doesn't help, I'm out of ideas. Is that okay? Uh-huh. You spied a small smile playing on his lips. We can try it. But if it doesn't work, I want to go home still. Deal. You grabbed your pillow and a few plush toys for good measure. As Cove picked up his pajama bottoms and folded them, then set them aside. You tossed the items in your hands onto the blanket. Completing your task, the two of you stood and looked down at your handiwork. Are you going to change into your pajamas? No, I can sleep in this. There wasn't anything else left to say. In unison, you both laid down side by side. Cove put his glasses aside and got into his sleeping bag. You made yourself as comfortable as you could, wrapped in the fuzzy blanket. The floor was hard and unforgiving against your back, not at all as comfy as your bed, but you didn't mind it much. You had fallen asleep on the floor before. What mattered was, if it helped, you swiveled your head to observe him. Is it better? He poked out the top of his face out of his sleeping bag and mumbled bashfully, I don't know, I have to sleep first. I can't tell if I can now. That wasn't a satisfactory enough answer for you. Wake me up if it doesn't work, okay? You can go after her, okay? Cove looked confused by the request, but he nodded anyway.
Okay.
I will. You smiled. At least he wouldn't disappear without you knowing. You settled in for bed on the ground, closing your eyes and waiting for sleep to come. You wanted to give Cove a chance to get comfortable. Surprisingly, he decided to keep talking. This is my first sleepover. I guess. You opened your eyes to see him staring up at the ceiling. His seafoam hair spread out around his head like he'd just gotten shocked. Really? I've had sleepovers before. Sometimes I'll go to friends' house. Shiloh slept over a few times too, and other stuff. Cove remained quiet. The silence stretched between you, but it didn't feel awkward right now. You didn't feel the need to break it immediately. How was it? Or is it? It's not bad. I liked reading your book. You did? I kind of thought you weren't having fun. You didn't really say anything when we were eating. I didn't know what to say. Oh. Now you were the one who didn't know what to say. You just laid there, and so did Cove, for what felt like a long time. Hey, Cove. There was no answer. You leaned on your elbow to see Cove's eyes close. His lashes fanned over the apples of his cheeks. His chest raised and lowered with every inhale and exhale. He was fast asleep. You smiled to yourself. Good night. You rested on your back and closed your eyes. Soon enough, you were lulled to sleep by the gentle sound of Cove's breathing. The next morning, you were woken by the sound of Mom's voice and a soft shake on your shoulder. Luke, wake up. It's time to get up and at 'em. The sun was peeking through your curtains, and you rubbed at your eyes as they adjusted to the new light.
How are you?
Is everything okay down there? You blinked at Mom for a moment, confused, before remembering you had slept down on the floor next to Cove. He was just waking up, yawning loudly. His hand lightly hit your face as he stretched out. When you moved away, you groaned a little at the pain in your shoulder from having slept on the hard ground. Definitely wasn't as comfortable as your cozy bed, that's for sure. Cove wasn't feeling good, so I stayed with him. You mumbled and glanced at Cove, who rubbed at his eyes sleepily. He didn't say anything. Still, you were glad you decided to stay the night in the end. When you looked at Mom next, she was smiling at you both. Mommy was standing in the doorway behind her, doing the same thing. All right, kids. We'll be downstairs making breakfast. Don't take too long coming down. She said something to Mommy on her way out that made the two of them giggle. Did you sleep okay? You stood up and stretched your legs, watching Cove fumble with the bedside drawer to pull out his glasses. You look tired as fuck, brother. I think so. He had been able to relax when it was just the two of you in the night. Now that a new day had come, he'd given the impression of feeling out of place again. But the smile on his face had a gentle light. Thanks, Luke. You're welcome. Even if it couldn't be a perfect time, it was worth it. Cove didn't stay for breakfast. He really was ready to go at that point. Mommy called to make sure Mr. Holden was up before Cove went home. He gave you a small wave as he left, thanking your moms for letting him stay, before he disappeared through the front door. You smiled at the sight. Cove's very first sleepover had come to an end. Woo! There we go. And that is where we're going to end it for today. We're going to get our little ending bit of step 1, and then we're going to start the next step. Step 2, baby. But yeah, that's where we're going to leave it for today. Quit the game? Actually, no. Let's go to the menu. Gallery. Look, we got the DLC one. Cute thumbnail.
There we go. Cute. Also, I will say that I did do this, but when you guys weren't here. This is, in part 1, you can actually admit that his dad gave you $20 to hang out with him. And that's what happens if you do it in stage 1. And I did that without you guys, because I was, like, checking something one day. But then I went back, so it was fine. Oopsies! Is there any visual novel that you haven't played yet that you have that I have? I don't know, actually. Dating sim is a tradition, but I don't have any in my brain. I know. Yeah, we're gonna be playing those games. Don't worry. Don't worry. How could you do it without us? Because I didn't think that it was gonna yield anything like a CG, and then it did. Oopsies! Let me switch you guys over to the ending screen, and let's see if there's anybody who we can raid. Let's see. Of course, we'll have a look. Man, there's not that many people on right now. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Let me get this. Do I want to listen to this song? I want a better song for my ending. No, not the fucking shoplifting theme. Do I want this one? Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Thank you guys so much for watching this stream. If you haven't hit that follow button already, hey, consider doing so. Next stream will be tomorrow with whatever I decide to play, because I don't know what I want to play. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching again. And until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see ya. Bye. Bye. Bye, you guys.